Winnipeg TV. With a tradition of excellence comes high expectations. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, their tradition of winning Stanley Cups ended almost 30 years ago, yet they're still expected to win. For the Jets, all their championships came in the 70s, when they were the leaders of the World Hockey Association. A history the NHL would sooner forget, but one current Jets would do well to remember. Being a part of the Stanley Cup playoffs is almost taken for granted in Toronto. There, the leaders must lead, and there is a price to be paid when the team underachieves. Nick Beverley is now the man in charge of guiding the Leafs, and his eyes are on the Jets, who have enjoyed playoff success a time or two. We're into the home stretch, and the Jets and the Leafs are battling for the playoffs in the Western Conference. It may be only March, but the atmosphere will be that of a seventh game as the Jets meet the Maple Leafs at the Garden on CKND Winnipeg TV. Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you by Molson Canadian. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Molson Jets Hockey on CKND. I'm Joe Pascucci, joined, of course, by Kerry Wilson, former National Hockey Leaguer. Kerry, the Winnipeg Jets on this road trip. They're on a 3-game losing streak, and I think not so coincidentally, this losing streak happened at the same time the Jets ran into injury problems with Norm McIver, Eddie Olczyk, and Alexei Zhamnov. All three have been out of the lineup, and they've had 3 straight losses.
Well, Joe, I think that's obviously not a coincidence. You're looking at a huge chunk of the Jets' scoring power there. When you take them out of the lineup, things really drop off. And you know, in the last few games, they've only been getting a couple of goals a game, and they need more than that. And also, with those guys out of the lineup, the other team's got the puck more often, and consequently, they're getting more goals against. And
the Jets were hoping to have Alexei Zhamnov back in their lineup tonight for this game against the Maple Leafs. He has a bruised back, but we've been told that Alexei Zhamnov was a scratch.
Well, that could be tough. It'll be interesting to see how the team handles that, because I think they might have been counting on getting this guy back in the lineup, and that would have been a real spark for this club. But right now, with the players being told, no, Alex won't be in the lineup, the guys better look around the room and say, well, you guys, it's us in here. We're the ones that got to turn it around, because they can't let this losing streak go on any further. It's becoming far too crucial a period in the schedule right now.
We are all expecting the Jets maybe to make a trade with the New York Islanders, but the Maple Leafs did it again for the second time this season. Tonight, Wendell Clark is returning to Toronto along with Matthew Schneider. Good pickup for the Maple Leafs. There you see the players going to the New York Islanders. General Manager and President Cliff Fletcher made this announcement about the trade.
We traded late this afternoon. Good young defenseman Kenny Janssen, a first-round pick in 1997. Darby Hendrickson, and Sean Haggerty, who's playing junior in Detroit. In return, we received Wendell Clark, Matthew Schneider, and the rights to unsigned draft choice DJ Smith with the Windsor Spitfires.
Well, there'll be a lot of talk about this trade, a lot of analysis. Let's get some from our 2 men in Toronto, Kurt Kuhlbach and John Garrett.
Hello again, everybody. Well, big doings in Toronto. The former captain from Kelvington is back here, and I know that where you're concerned, John Garrett, the trade for Wendell Clark is short-term gain for long-term pain.
Well, I think so. Kenny Janssen has a great upside. He's a young defenseman that the Leafs went right in the tank as soon as he got hurt. He's got great potential. He's playing a lot now. So they're trading away the future and getting Wendell Clark. He might be able to grab them by the throat, shake them out of the doldrums for the rest of this year, but what's he going to do next season? Matthew Schneider's a defenseman. He's not going to get any better. And then draft picks. Another first-round pick is gone. 97 is supposed to be one of the best drafts since 1980. And Sean Haggerty, who was a first pick last year. So I think the Leafs have traded away the future just to get Wendell back. It might just be a PR move, but I don't think this is a good long-term move for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Little panicky?
Well, you would have to think so, and the Leafs are definitely in the tank, but they sell out every night. It's not like they have to put people in the building. It's not like an Edmonton or an Ottawa that is worried about seats. The Leafs sell out every night.
Winnipeg Jets last night lost 5-2. They surrendered 4 power play goals.
Well, their penalty killing has to improve, and the key to their penalty killing is aggressiveness, and Dallas Drake supplies that for this Winnipeg Jet team. He's a great skater, he's got great speed, but he has to make the right decisions. He has to be aggressive on the puck.
Winnipeg Jets are hoping to have Alexei Zhemnov back tonight. He should be motivated. He became a father again for the second time.
Well, and they need a jump start. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. This is a team going in the wrong direction. They need something to grab onto. And Alex has played very well against the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's got 5 points in the last 2 games. Both games, they beat the Leafs, and Alex was a major factor. So him back in the lineup should give everybody a little more jump.
So the lineups will change for both these clubs in the foreseeable future. We'll see what happens tonight. Stand by for the opening face-off as the Winnipeg Jets meet the Toronto Maple Leafs live on Winnipeg TV, CKND.
Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you in part by the home of the Big Buy, Jim Coche Chevrolet's Geo Cadillac.
What a great party. Let's not forget introductions. This here is new Molson Ultra. Ultra, this here is the party. Get this. It's a new smooth 6.2% dry beer. Okay? Okay. Basically, you got a strong beer that doesn't feel like you're swallowing a small farm animal. That's my department. Molson Ultra, 6.2% dry, wickedly smooth beer.
With most other phone cards, you have to dial a complex access code of up to 11 digits before you can even begin to dial your call.
Flight 609 departing at 6:32 from gate 26 is now boarding. Would passengers in rows 18 through 35 please present your boarding pass at gate 26.
But with MTS calling card service, you just dial 0, then place your call. Another reason why the MTS calling card is the best card, period.
Last call for flight 609 at 6:32 departing from gate 26. All
There's only one way to beat winter in Manitoba. Four-wheel drive from Winnipeg Jeep Eagle. The 96 Jeep Grand Cherokee is Canada's best all-terrain vehicle, combining safety, elegance, and 4x4 toughness. The Jeep Cherokee, still Manitoba's favorite four-wheel drive utility vehicle. And don't forget the Eagle Talon, the all-wheel drive sports car. Sure-footed traction in all conditions, plus the guaranteed lowest prices and lowest lease rates at Winnipeg Jeep Eagle, Western Canada's largest volume Jeep Eagle dealership. 1430 Ellis, just a slap shot from the arena.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, processed cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. Hey, Andy, I just wrote a song.
It's the McDonald's Big Mac song, Fred.
Hey, thanks, Andy. That's a great name for it.
McDonald's Big Mac. It's one of a kind.
You know, have you had your break today?
Hey, that's good, too.
Well, the Jets and the Maple Leafs almost set to drop the puck at Maple Leaf Gardens, and this is a very important game for both teams. The Jets are 8th in the Western Conference standings. The Maple Leafs are 7th. The Calgary Flames, well, they're 6th, but the Jets just 1 point back of the Maple Leafs, as you can see. 62 points for the Jets, 63 for the Maple Leafs. The Jets a week ago had a lot of games in hand, but with this recent losing streak, they've really used most of them up. They have played 1 less game than Toronto. You see Vancouver with 69 points. They got bombed last night, carried by Washington. And if the playoffs were to start today, you see the big race there from 5 to 10. Here would be the matchups: Detroit versus Winnipeg, Colorado versus Toronto, Chicago and Calgary, St. Louis and Vancouver. Some great matchups there, Kerry, but the Jets and the Leafs, an important game tonight for both teams, obviously.
Well, it is, and this is the time of year you always hear this proverbial 4-point game, and the wins are so important right now against the Leafs. Winnipeg wins, they go up 2, and obviously the Leafs stay where they are. Otherwise, you flip-flop, and all of a sudden, Leafs jump up 4 more points. And it's, you know, it just really shows you how important games are right now. With only 15 games left in the season, a team can't just sit playing 500 hockey. They've got to put a streak together. I think a lot of it is going to stem behind solid goaltending.
And Nikolai Habibulin will be the goaltender for the Jets tonight. Did not play last night against Detroit, but Dominic Rousseau did play well in a 5-2 loss. Nikolai has been struggling. He's been off and on in his performances. That some of that consistency is not there anymore.
Well, I think that can come, but it hasn't been there right now, and that's been the difference. When the Jets put some streaks together this year, Habibulin was the difference. He was making 3, 4, 5 key saves a game, and that was the difference. He's got to come back, play that same sort of style. The Jets can come out, they can score 2, 3 goals a game, but if Habibulin can keep the shut the door on the opposition, he will be the difference.
Right. Habibulin's save percentages when he was really playing was well into the 92%. Right now, with this recent streak, it's down to about 87, 85, and that's just not good enough to win in the National Hockey League. As I said, they're almost ready to drop the puck in Toronto. One quick comment on defenseman Darren Quint, the Jets playing with 4 rookies. Quint has picked up his play of late since being recalled from Springfield.
He has, Joe. He's been playing a more aggressive game, a more assertive game, and it's really showing. He's taking the puck, he's rushing it, and he's taking more risks, and you know, he can't worry about making mistakes. Worry about what he does best, and if mistakes are going to be made, and that's what the game is all about, hopefully there's someone there to cover up for him.
And unfortunately for the Jets, with all the injuries that they do have to rely on Tverdovsky, Kilger, and on Shane Doan, and on Darren Quint more than they would really like to. Let's send you to Toronto, the Jets and the Maple Leafs. Here's Kurt Keelback and John Garrett.
So it's the Winnipeg Jets' final visit to Maple Leaf Gardens, where they have a lifetime record of 17-14. The referee tonight is Mick McGoo, the linesman Wayne Bonney, and Greg Dvorsky. And of course, behind the bench for the Toronto Maple Leafs is Nick Beverley. In goal, Felix Potvin for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Nikolai Habibulin for Terry Simpson's Winnipeg Jets. Now Mike Gartner goes after the puck off the opening faceoff. It's put in across the Jet line. Stapleton reaches for it. It's taken by Tkachuk. 3-on-2. The Jets start out. Here's Stapleton. Gains the line. Puts it over to Korolev. Puts it in deep. Tkachuk in behind the net. Into the corner. Stapleton. Back for Tkachuk. He's tied up. McCowan bats it around. Sundin trying to get it out. Does get it to Gartner. Gartner looks wide. Fires it in deep. It comes off the backboard. It's picked off by Numanen, but it's called for icing.
Scratches for the Winnipeg Jets. The key scratch is Alexei Zhamnov. He skated today after the team in the pregame skate. He had all his equipment on. He looked pretty good. He was shooting the puck. He took the pregame skate, and it was decided after the pregame skate tonight that he was going to be a scratch. And the scratches for the Toronto Maple Leafs, the two, Kenny Janssen and Darby Hendrickson, who were traded to the Islanders, came down. They were in the dressing room at 6:15, and then they were informed of the trade. They went home, and they were expecting Wendell Clark in tomorrow morning and playing against Dallas on Friday. Well, what a loss that is. Alexei Zhamnov, and as Kerry Wilson was saying, the other players just have to group it together, realize, okay, this is the team we got, let's go out, and this is a key game. Playoff battle, playoff race still going on, and a big win for the Jets. The Jets have handled the Leafs twice, their last 2 wins against the Leafs, and so they must be playing with a little confidence in that respect.
Leafs led the Jets by 1 point in the battle for 7th spot. Now the puck along the boards in the Leafs zone. McCowan goes after it in the corner. Along with him is Guzmanov. Guzmanov against McCowan. Puck comes free. King shot. He got it away quickly. He spun around. Potvin tested early. Picked it out of the air.
And there's Keith Tkachuk. He's in some discomfort on the bench, being attended to by Phil Walker. It looks like he took a shot in the ribs or in the pelvic area. This long shoot in by Mike Gardner, and then Keith Tkachuk comes across and he just catches Gardner with his hip bone almost, it looked like. Tkachuk comes across, Gardner's trying to get out of the way. Casual contact, but it must have hit Tkachuk right on the bone, and he is in discomfort on the bench.
Tkachuk yesterday took a shot on the top of the foot in the morning skate from the stick of Oleg Tverdovsky, and is having a bit of a foot problem. Now he's got that.
He'll take his mind off his foot problem.
Face-off in the circle to the left of Potvin. Eastwood against Presley. Puck goes free out to center ice with it there. For the Jets, now dumping it ahead. Muni to Shannon. It's dumped in, sent back out. Waiting for it, Tverdovsky. At center ice, bothered by Gagne. Gives it to Muni. He sends it ahead. And now it's brought back by Gill. Gill gains the line to Presley. Long shot. Habibulin down, covered up. He had a rare night off yesterday, did Nikolai Habibulin.
And that long shot by Wayne Presley, handled easily by Nikolai Habibulin. Corey Millen caught Jamie McCowan with an eye injury or a high stick on Saturday, and it caught Jamie just above the eye. He had some blurred vision for a couple of days, and there was great concern around the Leaf camp that it would be more serious than it was, but there he is. He's got a shiner, but no ill effect.
Gagne against Eastwood, and the Jets on. It goes into the corner. Tverdovsky puts it ahead now for Drake. Drake trying to get it out. Does poking out to center. Here's Shannon. Gains the line against Gill. Lets it go. Off the shoulder of Potvin. Shannon after it again. Into the other corner. Eastwood sends it back to the point. Muni shot. Redirected. Potvin save. Eastwood in behind the goal. Puts it out. Shot by Drake. Save Potvin. And he smothered the rebound.
Good pressure by the Jets early in this game. They've maintained the forecheck. They've won the battles along the boards, and Felix Potvin has made 2 or 3 great saves early. Nice pass out in front. Felix Potvin gets square, makes the original save, and then is able to come up and get it. Dave Ellett did a good job, the former Jet, in front of the net. One shot by Darren Shannon. That one almost fooled Potvin a little higher, and that goes over his shoulder.
John, the Jets played the Detroit Red Wings twice in the last 3 days. A superior team. They lost 5-2, but does that elevate your game coming into a game against Toronto?
Well, I think you get more conscious of team defense. When you play a team that you know can blow you away, you play a better team defense, and that carries over at least for the next week.
Here's Gilmore. Takes it back for Toronto. Watched there by Coronel. Puts it over the other corner. Tkachuk moves in. It's in and behind the net. Now Potvin gives to McCowan. McCowan's pass for Andrechuk. Look out to center. Manson fires it back in. And Captain Gilmore gives to Andrechuk. Andrechuk's pass cut off. Dumped back in by Stapleton. And McCowan watched by Korolev in behind his goal. 2:20 gone in the opening period. No score. Puck sent out to center ice. Murphy stopped by Tkachuk. Larry Murphy takes it back. Now trying to get it out, did get it to center, but there's going to be a penalty behind the play as McCowan and Tkachuk were involved.
McCowan gave a retaliation penalty. He just chopped at Keith Tkachuk, and it's good to see Keith back out there because I was a little worried that that hip injury might be a little more serious. Tkachuk takes a little whack at McCowan, a little chop there. Watch McCowan, a little pitchfork in the groin area, and that's caught by Mick Magoo. And that's a good call by Magoo. Tkachuk's was just a little push from behind, part of the game, and then McCowan with the spearing job, and McCowan's off for 2 minutes.
So we get a first look at the Jets power play. Tkachuk takes a break. So the first unit will be Dallas Drake, along with Darren Shannon and Ravil Guzmanov up front. Turcotte is back, along with Dave Manson. Turcotte goes back into his own zone to pick it up. Now starts away with Manson to his right. Turcotte has scored a beaut last night in Detroit, trying to go through. Can't had it knocked back. Here's Manson. He lets it go wide. Turcotte goes after it along the boards, trying to escape Muller. It's knocked out to center ice, and with it there is Shannon. Shannon starts back for Winnipeg. Dropped it off. Manson looks for room. Manson gains the line, puts it over for Shannon. That's knocked away by Muller. Now dumped in by Manson. Drake to dig it out of the corner. Drake looks back at Turcotte, holds on. Now gives to Turcotte. Shot that hit Shannon in front. Grabbed by Muller, and he clears it away. 1:10 left in the penalty to Jamie McCowan. No score. 3.5 minutes gone in the opening period. Here's Oleg Tverdovsky. Gives to Tkachuk on the move. Tkachuk gets it across the line. Walking into, he scored! Beautiful goal by Keith Tkachuk.
That looked like the Darren Turcotte goal from last night. This is a highlight film goal and play of the day type material for Keith Tkachuk. Tkachuk comes in on Larry Murphy, outside, inside, and then on Felix Potvin, and he slides it underneath Potvin. I think Potvin was back in the net because he thought Larry Murphy was going to slow him down. Tkachuk right by Murphy. Statue of Liberty play by Larry Murphy, and Tkachuk goes right in, slides it under Potvin.
Time 3:36.
3:36, a power play goal by Keith Tkachuk.
Time 3:36.
He got a pass from Oleg Tverdovsky coming deep, and then he just wound it up and walked around Larry Murphy. Now Brent Thompson gets it over to Manson. Up on the left wing, it's sent out to center ice. Knocked back. With it is Kyprios. Pumps it into the jet zone. Manson is checked by Domi. Now Kyprios against Thompson. Puck is dug out by Gilmore. Back to the point. Here's the shot by Zettler. Manson grabs. Puts it out to center ice. And with it there is Murphy. Ahead to Domi. Tried it for Gilmore. Gilmore goes after it. It's sent back out. And now Domi gives to Kyprios. He shot. That was blocked by Thompson. Kyprios goes down into the corner for Gilmore. Taken in against the boards by Thompson. Now it's centered. And it's dragged away by Shane Doan. He moves to center. On the move on the left side is Kilger. And he was unable to get it through. I don't know that Doan was aware that Kilger was there. Now Gilmore. Back for Toronto. Gets in across the line. Goes to the outside. Gives to Muller. Shot. Deflected wide by Domi. Gilmore. Deep. Back to the point. Elliott shot. And went wide. Murphy with it now. He lets it go wide. Here's Gilmore, a shot. Blocked by Newman and puck loose in front. Muller poked it wide. Murphy after it. Again, Shannon. Shannon knocked it away, and with it now is Elliott. Ahead for Muller. And it's offside as he flips it over to Doug Gilmore. This is your Molson hockey telecast.
What a great party. Let's not forget introductions. This here is new Molson Ultra. Ultra, this here is the party. Get this. It's a new smooth 6.2% dry beer. Okay? Okay. Basically, you got a strong beer that doesn't feel like you're swallowing a small farm animal's food. That's my department. Molson Ultra, 6.2% dry. Wickedly smooth beer.
Winter's here, and it's time to ask yourself, does your battery have the juice to get you started when you really need it? Do your tires have the traction you need for slippery situations? Only Canadian Tire offers MotoMaster batteries and tires to get you going in any situation. All at the everyday low prices you'd expect from Canada's automotive store. Canadian Tire, there's a lot more for your car for a lot less.
So, courtesy Keith Kachuk, we have a winner in our Safeway Score and Win contest. Wayne Cheap entered a ballot and included a label from Campbell's Cooking and Broth Soups. As a result, Wayne, you have won a Gold Star Star Touch 2 VCR. Puck in the jet zone. Here's Newman. Starts away. Gets the pass ahead to Drake. Gets over the line. Drake waits. Trying to work his way by Gill. Takes it deep. Gill stays with him. Drake persists. Now Shannon helps out. Shannon trying to get away from Muller. Puts it behind to Eastwood. Eastwood back to the corner. Drake tried to feed Shannon. Puck sent back to the blue line. Newman and Gartner wrestle. Now Sundin comes up with it. He's got Muller with him. Here's Sundin moving. It cuts in front and was unable to get the shot away, but there's going to be a penalty to the Winnipeg Jets. He appeared to have an open net, but was unable to reach the puck on the backhand.
Darren Shannon did a good job coming back. Teppo Newman was hauled down by Mike Gardner and created the 2-on-1. Gardner's got Newman down. Now Darren Shannon, he's 2 steps behind. Hook, 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 and then he finally hooked Sundin's arm enough that Sundin, even though he had the empty net, couldn't get the shot away. This is a good penalty for Darren Shannon. He's in desperation, and a great defensive play by Shannon. A hooking penalty, but sometimes you have to take it.
So the Jets penalty-killing brigade gets the first test. I suppose the Leafs looked at a little bit of film over what happened in the Detroit series.
Oh, I'm sure they did. I'm sure Nick Beverly had his team watching the Detroit Red Wings throw it around, but this isn't the Detroit Red Wings. You can look at tape, but if you don't have that passing ability, and not many teams can match the Detroit Red Wings in that area.
They have Gilmore, Gagne, Andrechuk, Murphy, and Yuskevich as the power play. It goes back to the point. Here's Yuskevich, gives to Gilmore. Gilmore looks at Andrechuk, holds on, now trying to feed Andrechuk and lost the puck. Muni knocked him away, and Eastwood cleared it out. Going back to get it is Murphy. 1-0, the Jets lead 6 minutes into the opening period. Here's Gagne. Gives it to Yuskevich. He fires it into the jet zone. Manson trying to get it out. Stopped by Gilmore. Into the corner, Gagne. Gagne back for Gilmore. Looks back to the point. Feeds it there to Murphy. Murphy down deep, comes off the backboard. Gagne centers. Here's Gilmore's shot. Hit the goal post. Close puck at the side. Kicked away. Now with it is Murphy. Murphy gives to Gagne. Watch there by Turcotte. Murphy to Gilmore. Centers it. It goes off a stick all the way out to center ice. Back again, the veteran Murphy. 1 minute left in the Jet penalty to Shannon. It's dumped deep. Kachuk back for Winnipeg. Puts it behind the goal. Gilmore waiting. Centers. Here's Yuskevich. Gets it over to Murphy. Into the corner now. Sent back to Muller. In behind. Here's Gilmore. Trying to walk in front. Uni slides in front. Now Muller looks at Gilmore. Muller at the side. Puts it back. Yuskevich. Shot blocked by a sliding Craig Muni. Now with it, Kachuk. Dumps it in. It goes for a breather. 27 seconds left in that penalty to Shannon. 1-0 Winnipeg. 7:20 gone in the opening period as Sundin tries to cross the line, gets it back to Muller. He centers. Turcotte spots King. King has got Manson wide left. Elliott grabs him. King takes a look, fires it wide, and now Manson trying to dump it in. Gartner gets it out here. Sundin with Gill, who takes the pass and then fires it to nobody. Here's Elliott back at the point. Elliott winds it. He lets it go. Shannon is out of the penalty box. Elliott checked by Shannon, and the puck goes all the way down the ice. 8 minutes into the period. Here's Muller moving in. Centers, knocked away by Habibulin. Sundin reaching for it, can't get there. Eastwood trying it for Shannon. Sent out to center, and back with it is Elliott. Muller, Sundin. Over the line. Gardner off his skate. And it bounces in to be covered up on by Habibulin. 1-0 Jets. 8:15 into the first.
Horsepower, strength, endurance, truth to truth, and truck to truck. GMC is still the boss. GMC is leading the race with Vortec, their most powerful engine lineup yet. Get up to 21% more horsepower over the 97 F-150. All encumbered with more legroom and standard four-wheel ABS. That's the truth. Worker play it's GMC Boss, featuring the new 230 horsepower Vortec. Only $25,480. Your GMC dealers, the truth in trucks.
World events are rapidly changing around us. What do they mean? Will they affect you personally? Where are they leading? The Key of David program will give you answers to these questions. Each week, Gerald Fleury reveals the biblical significance behind world events. Be sure to watch The Key of David here on CKND at 8:30 a.m. Sunday morning.
So it's 1-0. The Jets lead the Leafs. And coming up in the first intermission, we'll have a between periods feature as Perry Pern, Jets assistant coach, will discuss the left wing lock, and Joe Pascucci will be speaking with Gary Wilson and a look at the MTS scoreboard.
A lot of responsibilities for the left wingers and the left wing lock, and the teams that adapt that system, they always put their best defensive forwards, all of a sudden turn into left wingers.
Off the draw, the Jets on. The puck goes close to Shannon. Shannon dumps it in. Eastwood chases it. Zettler. Now Potvin comes out trying to clear. Warner and Drake in along the boards. Warner sends it to the blue line. Kept in by Tverdovsky. Gagne over on the right wing. And the Leafs dump it in. Back to get it. Tverdovsky. Warner in quickly after him. Tried it for Drake to Eastwood. Into the middle, Muni. Gets it ahead now to Shannon. Shannon dumped it in, and going back is McCowan. McCowan to Zettler. Zettler watched by Drake. Pass goes ahead to center ice. Here's Gagne. Gains the jet line. Dropped it for Warner. Eastwood all over him. Warner still got the shot away. It went wide. Shannon to Drake. Moves to center ice. Drake is along, trying to get by McCowan. McCowan takes it away. And now starts back for Toronto. Gives to Warner. Warner for Gilmore. He didn't anticipate the pass. It goes all the way down the ice. Manson gets there, and it's icing against the Maple Leafs.
Kurt, you and I were sitting watching things unfold here at Maple Leaf Gardens as we look at Nick Beverly, the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I'm sure he would like to have Kenny Janssen on the ice. And we couldn't figure out, okay, the trade is made. Why would they announce it and do it before this game? The Islanders aren't playing tonight. Why wouldn't they wait until after the game and use Kenny Johnson? But I hear that the news was leaked in New York on the island, and that's why they wanted to announce it, so that they wouldn't have the same sort of scenario as when they fired Pat Burns. But this is a key game for them.
Here's Yellen, flips it in behind the net to Murphy. Kachuk with an eye on him. The pass for Gilmore. It's sent back in by Thompson. Now Andrechuk working against Thompson. Fires it in. Ababula lets it go. Gilmore centers it. Moving in Murphy. Can't get a shot. The Jets 2-on-1. With it is Kachuk. He's got Korolev with it. Kachuk moving and lets it go. But then the save. And he covered up. Leeds got caught deep. The Jets took it the distance 2-on-1.
And this is not the Larry Murphy highlight film first period. Larry Murphy gets caught up. He pitches in. He's got no chance. There goes Larry Murphy, and now it's a clean 2-on-1. And again, it's our pal Dave Ellett back on the 2-on-1. Plays it perfectly. Give the goaltender the shooter, and Felix Potvin does his job. Takes Keith Kachuk all the way. Kachuk's trying to go through the leg. Potvin waits, closes it up, and then is able to freeze it. A good move by Keith Kachuk trying to get the rebound.
Here's Craig with it for Toronto. Gives it to Gill. Gill sends it around. Stopped down by Stapleton. Stapleton works it along the boards. Gilmore back for Craig. Kachuk bounced in there. Now Andrechuk knocks it free, and back with it is Manson. Gives to Kachuk. The midway mark of the opening period, the Jets with the only goal. Stapleton gains the line, looks out in front. Going after it now is Korolev. Back for Kachuk. Kachuk trying to free himself of Gill, and it's taken by Gilmore. To Craig. Craig looks back. A dangerous pass to Yuskevich. Now sends it ahead to Gilmore. Gilmore against Manson. Puts it over now to Andrechuk. Andrechuk looks for Craig. Can't get it to him. Now dives into the corner. Craig in front for Gilmore. Pass broken up by Manson. At the side of the goal. Andrechuk can't get to it. Gilmore. Deep for Toronto. Hit. Hard redirected by Andrechuk. And it went up and out of play.
Dave Andrechuk standing in the crease when he deflected that one. It would be interesting for Mick Magoo had he had to make a call on that play. Andrechuk was in the crease before the puck got there. Andrechuk cuts through. He's almost dumped. Trips, comes back, and the shot comes through. He's standing both feet in the crease before the puck got there, Kurt. That would have been a tough call.
Well, legally, it wouldn't count.
Shouldn't have counted. Shouldn't have.
Shouldn't have.
Keyword. Should not have counted.
By the way, stay with us in tonight's post-game show for the crunch of the game, brought to you by Vernos Auto Body, 160 Higgins Avenue in Winnipeg. It hasn't happened yet. Watch Dallas break in the first period. That's often when it does happen. Here's McCowan. Gets it ahead now to Sundin. Over to Gartner. Back to Sundin. Poke down deep. Gavardowski for Winnipeg in behind his goal. Sundin with him. Gartner trying to take it out. It goes to Turcotte to Newman. He leads the Jets away. Gets it on the left side to Captain Chris King, who fires it in deep. After it there, Guzmanov shot. Saved by Potvin. Riva. Here's Guzmanov trying to work in front. Had it knocked away. Now a race for it. Sundin and Tverdovsky. Sundin comes up with it in behind, throws it in front, and King is back. Gives to Guzmanov. Out to center. Guzmanov takes it over the line, and Murphy turns it around for Toronto. Gives to Gagne. Gagne against Manson. Manson takes the puck and starts back. Swings by Kyprios. Long shot by Manson. Kicked out by Potvin. Murphy against McKenzie. Puck goes in behind the net. With it is Gagne. Ahead now for Kyprios. Pass into the middle. Domi. And it's offside. Nick Kyprios in too quickly on the left wing.
Family time is like tonight. Lucky Bell, Toronto.
Shoots, score! Intercepted by Chris King against Carpensen. Score! Chris King rips one past Bridger. Second shot, they score! Trevor Linden. Back, first shot, tip. Here's a chance for Dono.
Play Safeway, score and win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win a set of quality appliances from T-Fal. A 20-piece set of Mikasa fine china in the Currents pattern. a Gold Star Start Touch 2 VCR, or a Texas Instruments personal organizer. You could also win a trip for two to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway's participating products, McCain drinking boxes, and Chef Boyardee canned pastas. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
Now there's a guy that's punched a few legs out of his time in the Jets, Jim Kite. A week from tonight, he will lead the San Jose Sharks into Winnipeg for the next home action. Owen Nolan will be there, probably.
Maybe Ray Shepard. They keep talking about Ray Shepard. Owen Nolan is another guy, but those are the games you have to win. Everybody else is beating San Jose, so when it's your turn, you better do the same thing.
Here's Murphy, shot knocked down in front. Shannon goes after it, penalty coming up. Whistle by Magoo. So the Leafs will gain the power play 12-14 into this first period. A second look at their specialty team on the power play.
Brent Thompson on Nick Kyprios in front, and Kyprios is known as a great diver, and here Thompson has the grab on him, but not a very tight grab. Kyprios goes down.
Winnipeg penalty number 3.
And the penalty is drawn.
Thompson, 2 minutes for holding. Time 12-14. Brent Thompson for holding. Time 12-14.
So the Leafs send out Gilmore, Gagne, Andrechuk, Yuskevich, and Murphy is the power play. Face off to the left of Hababulin. Jets have outshot the Leafs 8-3 and have the only goal. Here's Murphy. He lets it go wide. Now Drake sends it out to center ice, and back with it is Murphy. Murphy's pass to Gilmore, trying to split the defense, had it knocked away by Finley. Andrechuk in behind, here's Gilmore. Gilmore watched by Numminen. Gilmore spinning, trying to escape Numminen. Gets it back, Murphy's shot. Andrechuk scores!
Andrechuk has great dexterity for a big man. Everybody knows that. He's a 50-goal scorer, former 50-goal scorer. And this pass is tipped before it gets to him. Gilmore, and Jeff Finley is coming back. He tips the pass. It hits Andrechuk's skate, and he bangs it up to his stick and in by Nikolai Hababulin. And look at this. Quick hands, quick feet. Puck's tipped. Andrechuk kicks it up, and bang. No chance for Hababulin, and Finley didn't get enough of that pass to tip it away from Andrechuk.
So it's a power play goal by Andrechuk. It's a 1-1 hockey game. 12:38 into the opening period. Here's McCowan. Dumps it in, and Hababulin covers it up.
Nikolai Hababulin has had some problems in his last 5 games. He's allowed 22 goals, and those haven't been 5 starts, I should say. He's got the hook in the first 2 of those 5, but it's a confidence thing. He's playing here at Maple Leaf Gardens. He's played well here. Didn't have any chance on that. The last time in, the score was 4-2, 40 shots against, and Nikolai stopped 38 of them, so he must have a little confidence playing in this building.
Off the draw, it goes back to McCowan, moves along the line, cuts right in front, shot, and that was blocked by Muni. Now Yuskevich puts it down. Dave Stapleton trying to clear, can't. Domi trying to dig it out. Muni comes up with it, lost it to Domi. Domi flips it back. Here's Gilmore. Gilmore spins, centers. Korolev takes it back for Winnipeg. Can't get it out. Gilmore pumps it in behind the net. Here's Kyprios. He's checked. And the Jet Stapleton takes it out to center ice. Checked from behind by Kyprios. And the Leafs come back. Kyprios gets over the line. And it's taken back out by Tvernovsky. Tvernovsky looks for room. Drop to Stapleton. Fakes it. Stapleton shot. Potvin makes the save and holds on.
Igor Korolev went very slowly over to the bench, and I don't know whether he's just winded. He was caught in that crossfire at the blue line. Here comes Kyprios. Tkachuk hits him, and Kyprios is spinning around when he hits Korolev, and Korolev went down. That was a good hit by Keith Tkachuk. Kyprios' stick catches Korolev. Tkachuk comes across, catches him, he's in the trolley tracks. Around comes the stick after the hit, and the stick caught Korolev right in the head. no intent, and with Nick Kiprios, you never know because he does carry that stick high, but that was a good hit by Tkachuk, and in that case, I don't think Kiprios had any intention of hitting anybody.
Here's Muller away for Toronto. Dropped it back to Gartner. He lets it go. That went off Thompson and wide. Now Muller trying to center behind the net. It's Manson. Gartner working on him. Sundin puts it in behind the goal. Thompson watched there by Muller. Sends it to the blue line. Kept in by Gill. Sundin. Gartner alone in front. And Haberbulin came up with a save. Gartner looking for his 30th of the year. Here's Gill. Back in his own zone. Now gives to Allen. Allen with Muller to his right, gets over the line, dumps it in, gives chase. Thompson goes with him behind the net. Now Gartner trying to dig it out. He's hit by Manson. Sundin, centering effort picked up by Turcotte, whose pass wound up beneath Nikolai Haberbulin.
Dave Manson was hooked up and interfered with by Matt Sundin. And Sundin skated away. Manson was screaming at Mick Magoo. Terry Simpson didn't like the play either. That's why Gartner was so wide open, was because Manson was being all tied up by Matt Sundin. And the Calgary Flames had an incident in here on Saturday night when Gary Roberts and Sundin had something going. And naturally, Matt Sundin's not going to fight back and could have the same sort of situation here tonight. Terry Simpson did not particularly like the way the game was called by Don Koharski last night. And Nick Beverly was very proud of the way his team battled back in their win against Calgary, but it was mostly the Kirk Muller show in that one. He had the hat trick, although Sundin had 3 assists in that game too, and he has to be one of the keys for the Leafs.
Well, it's interesting that they talk so much about Sundin, Potvin, and Kenny Janssen. I think the keys to the future. Janssen, of course, is no longer a Leaf. Here's Shannon, can't get out. Now Presley puts it in, and Eastwood trying it ahead. Stopped at center ice by McCowan, who slapped it back in, and with it there is Kepler-Numminen behind his goal. 5 minutes, 25 seconds left in the opening period. The score is tied 1-1. Shannon gives to Eastwood, cutting it and going. Eastwood, he scored! Mike Eastwood.
And what a nice play by Darren Shannon along the boards. To get that puck up to Eastwood, he was going a million miles an hour, and this is not going to be the Larry Murphy show because he was the one beaten again. And Darren Shannon feeds. Murphy's on his horse already, but he doesn't have the legs to catch Mike Eastwood. And again, it's that little move, half move across the net that beats Felix Potvin. Murphy, no, he's beaten. Eastwood protects the puck halfway across and through the legs of Felix Potvin.
Mike Eastwood.
Former Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a little sweeter when you score against a team that is your most recent team.
Eastwood from Shannon and Numminen, the scoring play at 14:42. And the Jets lead it 2-1. Here's Allen. Trying it for Gilmore. By him all the way down. Numminen goes deep. And it's icing against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Jets score, and Marlene Evans is our next lucky winner in our Safeway Score and Win contest by including a Kleenex facial tissue proof of purchase and entering at Safeway. Marlene, you want a set of quality appliances from Tefal.
Great speed and good composure by Mike Eastwood. The perfect pass from Shannon. He protected the puck well. He went in on Potvin and no panic. Cut halfway across, opened the goaltender up, and then he slipped it in.
So we got a couple of highlight reel goals for the Jets. The first by Tkachuk and that one by Eastwood. So I want you to stay tuned following the game for the Jim Gauthier Big Easy Play of the Game, brought to you by the home of the Big Buy, Jim Gauthier, Schembel's Geo Cadillac. Now the puck is in the lead zone. Craig gets it over now to Elliott. Elliott puts it into the corner. Yuskevich. He sent it out to center ice. Fired back in by Manson. And Yuskevich, with 4 minutes, 49 seconds left in the opening period, has it in behind his goal where he's watched by Igor Korolev. Tried to get it out, stopped momentarily by Tkachuk. Andrechuk now knocked it back. Thompson leaves it at center ice. That's picked up, plugged into the Jets on by Yuskevich, ridden out by Stapleton. And now Thompson trying to spin around, and he caught Gilmore high. There's going to be a penalty. Brent Thompson will go to the penalty box.
Whether you're warming up or hitting full stride, you want to look and feel your best.
At Athletes Wear, we've got the best selection for all your clothing and footwear needs. You're always ready for any game in the Reebok Brutus Mid-Turf Cross Trainers from Reebok's preseason collection. These shoes are rugged with leather uppers, and right now you'll save $10. Athletes Wear, still the right choice.
The choice is there. Athletes Wear.
Not surprisingly, wheat farmers prefer the Puma on the left. Puma plus your favorite broadleaf herbicide. For your worst weeds, all you have to do is unleash it.
Brent Thompson takes a high sticking penalty. He played the puck and he came around and caught Doug Gilmore with his follow-through. Gilmore went down and Brent Thompson ends up in the penalty box again. Thompson spins around on the backhand and he's just following through on his backhand. Catches Gilmore in the side of the head and takes the high sticking penalty.
Well, the last time Brent Thompson went to the penalty box, the Leafs scored their only goal in the power play. It was scored by Dave Andrechuk. And the puck is dumped back into the Toronto zone, and with it there is McCowan. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in the opening period. The Jets lead it 2-1. Here's Murphy. Gains the line, dumps it in. It's offside.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Larry Murphy back out there for this power play, and he put everybody offside. He pulled that puck back on the blue line. He's having a tough period, I think.
He's having a rough go.
You better off to go and sit down and watch the rest of this one and regroup for the second.
Now Murphy dumps it in. Bullet puts it into the corner. Newman against Gartner. Newman tried it for Finley. Finley around to Drake. Drake takes it deep. Now fires it all the way down the ice, and it looks as though there's going to be a penalty against the Maple Leafs. Holding has been indicated. Is it Muller or is it Gartner? It's Mike Gartner.
Mike Gartner heads off. And they couldn't get a hold of Nikolai Habibulin. The bench was screaming at him, but here at Maple Leaf Gardens, it's hard to hear down on the ice. And Mike Gartner goes off for holding. The puck was on the other side of Nikolai's defense. And it's hard unless you can hear the guys. You can't see the play develop. Mike Gartner reaches out with his right hand.
Here's Manson. Dumps it in. Punt man. Save. Rebound. Turcotte trying to bat at it. Goes after it again. It's knocked loose, and with it is Muller. Muller sends it rink wide, and Sundin takes it back. Puts it in behind the goal, and with it is Gill. Gill watched there by Muller. Now trying to lead the Leafs out. Turcotte picked it off. Gives to Drake. Drake moves in, takes it deep. Drake in behind the goal. Now his mates are changing. He's taken off the puck, and it's taken away by Allen. He gives to Sundin. Sundin gets over the line, trying to work by Manson. Manson takes him in against the corner. And Muller, checked by Newman. It goes ahead to Stapleton, to Drake. Now it's Drake, gains the left line, goes outside, looks back. Gill takes him in. Drake looking for some help now. Stapleton moves in. Knocked away from him, taken by Gagne. Over to Muller. Muller puts it back. In with it is Gagne. Gagne gets up to the jet line, trying to work his way through back to Warner. His fade back for Gagne was knocked away by Numanen. To Tverdovsky. To Stapleton. Pass for Thompson. He didn't see it coming. And Yaskevich goes back for Toronto. 2-1, the Jets lead. Just over 2 minutes left in the opening period. Here's Korolev. Gives to Tverdovsky to Numanen. Watched by Gagne. Back to Tverdovsky. On the left side, Stapleton. Dropped it off to Korolev. Korolev's pass. McCowan picks it up. McCowan chased by Tkachuk. Can't get it by Tverdovsky. Into it now to Korolev. Back to Tverdovsky. To Numanen. Kruvik in front. Here's the shot. Knocked away. Warner jumped in out to center ice. Here's Teppo Numanen. Puts it ahead to Tkachuk. Knocked loose at center. And the puck goes back into the Leaf zone. Both gloves at full strength as Gill takes it in behind his goal. Watched there by Turcotte. Gill's passed off by King. Puts it across. Now Elliott trying to clear. Play scrambling. Late in his first period. Turcotte picks it up. Here's Turcotte trying to work it in front. Gives it to King. He fakes it. Oh, Chris King had Gustave right in front and trying to fade Turcotte. Now the puck in deep, centered. And that's off the shoulder of Habibulin. Here's Andrew Chucky for Gilmore. Score!
Kurt, that all started down at the other end when Chris King had a glorious chance to shoot the puck and tried to feed it across. The Leafs came back. And it was a 3-on-2, turned into a 3-on-3, but defensively the Jets are scrambling. Dave Manson tries to get over to Doug Gilmour, but Gilmour slid in behind him and did the smart thing. Takes the puck on his backhand and doesn't even try to go to his forehand. That was a Dave Keon goal right there. Doug Gilmour on his backhand beats Nikolai Habibulin. Nice pass from Dave Andreychuk.
So it's 2-2 into the last minute of the opening period. It's fired into the Jet zone, and now Shannon ahead for Drake. He's got Eastwood with him. Drake waits, puts it in deep. Puck fan. Knocked it free. Eastwood gives to Drake. Drake gives it to Shannon. Shannon's pass across. Newman knocked it behind the net. Eastwood is there. And now it's sent to the blue line and out. And with it is Finley. Fired into the Toronto zone. Murphy. Put it high. That goes all the way down into Jet territory. Presley beat to it by Tverdovsky. Tverdovsky 10 seconds in a period. Gives to Korolev. Korolev fires it in. Going back is Gertner. Gertner checked by Muni. Muni along the boards. And it will run out the first period.
Shots on goal, 12-6 for the Winnipeg Jets, but the mistakes that the Jets made were key mistakes. You can't fault Nikolai Habibulin on either goal. And the Jets, although they had 2 goals, their scoring chances were about even. They passed up a couple of good scoring chances, especially the one by Chris King late in the period that ended up back in his own net.
Stand by in the upcoming intermission. We'll hear the thoughts of Kerry Wilson in conversation with Joe Pascucci. The score after 1, the Leafs 2, the Jets 2.
A long way from where your cat rules the world is a place where cats rule an even larger world, if you can imagine. It's the Purina Pet Care Center. Here, for over 65 years, our nutritionists and veterinarians have been studying nutrition and discovering ways to help pets live longer, healthier lives. That's what's behind Purina Cat Chow, and why we've added vitamin E as a natural preservative. Most importantly, everything we do because of what means the world to you. Purina Cat Chow, helping cats live longer, healthier lives.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. In just a minute today, your thighs can look like
2 big mouth-watering patties in a rich,
hypoallergenic base that makes your skin feel like
toupee in a can. Gets rid of bald spots. In fact, it looks just like
fabulous fake fur. Fantastic for my rump roast. Now easier to handle with a roast wrangler.
Life can be heavy. Keep it light. Clear your mind with a clearly great new taste. Check out new 7-Up Light.
You want to see what Target herbicide does to tough broadleaf weeds like cleavers and Canada thistle? That's what Target does to tough broadleaf weeds. Target can now be tank mixed with New Horizon.
Who's got the most wicked deals on wheels? Park Pontiac's got it. Catch the excitement. Right now, we've got the largest inventory of Sunfires ever. And more selection means you get the most competitive prices.
You got it, Park Pontiac.
Wicked.
Keith Tkachuk with his 42nd, Mike Eastwood with his 11th, and the Maple Leafs big gunner came through in that period, Andrechuk and Gilmore, and we are tied at 2 after 1 at Maple Leaf Gardens, and that was a great first period for Keith Tkachuk. He was a force out there, as he has to be right now, with the injuries to Zhamnov and Olchek.
Well, he was. He played a very strong game, a physical game, and also he contributed in the goal scoring. Here he came up on the Leafs with a lot of speed and made a good move on Potvin, put it between his legs. The key there, though, was catching at the blue line. He had full speed. Murphy was trying to stand up and hold the blue line, and with that kind of speed, you're going to get by him. All that the Leaf defenseman Murphy could do was just try and do what he could to get a piece of the puck. Here they just continue on and break up a nice strong 2-on-1. Tkachuk again, almost a replay. Ellett moves right over, gives him, says, "Go ahead, take your chance at Potvin." And I think Keith was kind of caught by surprise. Didn't think he'd have that much time and be given that much space, and tries to take a shot. And then he continues being a force. He's aggressive out there, doing a lot of hitting, and that gets the team going. Also, I think it gets them more involved and picks up their play all around.
And maybe just by coincidence, Keith Tkachuk's play has gotten more physical since the trading of Teemu Selanne. Mike Eastwood, beautiful goal in that period. Again, speed kills.
Exactly, and Shannon and Eastwood work it very well together. But again, like you say, the key is speed. They got the wheels going. Eastwood is breaking up the far side, doesn't lose stride. Shannon makes an excellent pass, almost between Murphy's legs, goes in on the goalie, and again puts it between Putman's legs. But the key, like you say, is speed here. And if they can keep going at the Leafs with that kind of speed, and the Leafs keep trying to hold up the blue line, stand up, they're going to be getting by them all night long.
Quick 10-second comment on how that last goal might affect the Jets.
Well, that may take a little bit of wind out of their sails. They're going to be in the dressing room saying, "You guys, don't let that get you down. We're playing a good game. There's nothing to be down about. Come out, play strong in the second period."
All right, Jets out shooting the Maple Leafs in that first period. See if they can carry that on in the second. Coming up next on our Molson Jets hockey telecast, we'll go between periods. We'll check in with Jets assistant coach Harry Pern, who will tell us about the Jets defensive system.
If you're even the slightest bit tired, take 5 minutes, stop the car, get out, walk around the car, wake up, get back in and drive. But for gosh sake, don't drive when you're tired. That's the reason that I'm in a wheelchair and have been in a wheelchair for 21 years. It's not just yourself that's affected by making a mistake like that. It's your family, your friends. I just wish that all Manitobans would stay alert and be road wise.
New Curtail M for wheat and barley. Thistle for dinner. 15 broadleaf weeds for dessert.
Big news is breaking at Subway. It's their new chicken salsa sandwich. Tender, moist strips of chicken, topped with a zesty salsa, and all your favorite Subway fixins.
The chicken salsa, the chicken salsa. It's the dish you love so much. The chicken salsa, the chicken salsa. You won't shell out a lot of bucks.
The new chicken salsa sandwich, only from Subway until April 8th.
Olé!
The
Brick's new spring lineup is arriving daily. And now take 2 years to pay with no down payment and no interest on all home furnishings. Plus, make no down payments, no monthly payments, and pay no interest on everything else in the store. Now, for limited time, nobody beats the Brick. From country charm to stylish contemporary, for sofas, nobody beats the Brick. Great comfort at very comfortable prices. Your style, your color. You'll find your sofa at Canada's guaranteed lowest prices, starting at just $2.99. For sofas, nobody beats the Brick.
Promotional consideration provided by...
Start your day with Delco's new Freedom 84 battery. It guarantees you 7 years of worry-free starts.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs only had 6 shots in that first period, and they also had 2 power plays. So the Jets' defensive system is obviously working. It's called the left wing lock. Jets assistant coach Perry Pern tells us all about it.
Well, I think it's just another way of creating a pressured forecheck, and I think that's the key idea, is that it's a forecheck that generates pressure. What you're looking at is a situation where 2 guys are going to go hard. What's common in the system, no matter which team is playing it, is that the third man into the zone is going to go to the left side of the ice, and so that area is going to be designated. And then what it sets up is that the 2 defensemen, I think, in our particular case with our team, what's important is that it defines where our defensemen are going to get off the ice and that our defensemen are going to get off the ice. We felt that we need to do a better job of tightening the gap between the opposing team's forwards and our defense, particularly through the neutral zone, and this was a way to help us do that. And so with the left side back, then the inside defenseman is going to come up the ice and pivot and take essentially their man coming through the middle, and the defenseman on the right-hand side of the rink is going to come up and pivot and basically have the forward coming down the right-hand side of the ice. The first 2 guys into the zone should be taking the 2 defensemen for the other team, and it's their responsibility to make sure those 2 men don't beat them back up the ice. Then, you've got a center, a left wing, and a right winger breaking out for their team, and essentially what you've done is you've given responsibility here to the center iceman, to the inside defenseman. The outside defenseman here has responsibility for the left winger, and this left side back, or the left wing lock, has responsibility for the right winger. And so I think what you do is you really simplify the responsibilities in the forecheck for your players, and why we like it and why we feel it's been successful for us is that it's given us that identification. It's given each player a clear role and a clear function, and it's maybe simpler for them to stick with that. So that's certainly one of the key ideas behind it. The key to any system, in terms of whether it'll work or not, is how much pressure you get with the first 2 players. I think there's 2 things that you want to accomplish there. You want the physical pressure of those players being in position and chasing hard, but you also want the mental pressure of those defensemen knowing that time after time they're going to pay a price when they make that pass. And it may be that in the first period that they're able to dish that puck off and make a good play and maybe break out of the zone. But as time goes by, with the continued pressure, with the continued commitment to finishing checks, you start to force them into some mistakes, and maybe they don't make the pass quite as well because they're rushed a little bit more. And I think it's a system that pays off with time. And I think a team that's going to be successful using it has to keep at it.
I don't know if they're teenagers or eating machines. They're still growing. They consume massive quantities of food. They don't stop. Those big guy dinners, just appetizers to them. But this new chunky chicken pot pie from KFC sure helps fill them up. It's got big chunks of chicken. I mean, there's actually chicken in every bite. It helps keep them going until the next feeding.
The delicious new chunky chicken pot pie from KFC. Try one now. They're only $3.99 for a limited time.
The Big Easy at Jim Gauthier. What is it? Well, basically, it's just a simple system whereby you and the big guy share ownership in a vehicle for 2, 3, 4 years. When the term is up, you've got three options to choose from. You can either purchase the vehicle at a guaranteed low price, you can take out another for 2, 3, or 4 years, or you can simply walk away. The Big Easy, part of the package here at Jim Gauthier Chevrolet Geo Cadillac, home of the big buy.
On McPhillips, north of Inkster.
Canada has 29 million people, 10 million homes, and one sale to furnish them all. Announcing Lazy Boy Furniture Gallery's Furnish Canada sale, where for a limited time, you will save an incredible 10 to 40% on thousands of choices for family rooms and living rooms. Savings so big on a selection so wide can only be described as nationwide. The Furnish Canada sale, only at your Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries.
Environment Canada's Eco logo has been awarded to 7 water-conserving products, 14 reusable shopping bags, 20 mercury-free batteries, 30 recycled paper stationery products, but to only 1 gasoline in Western Canada. Cleaner-burning, ethanol-blended gasoline made from prairie grain. Only at Mohawk, Mother Nature's gas station.
Any way you play it, the whole new line of Plymouth is a whole lot of fun. What could be better than
a little Married with Children after a hockey game? It's a double episode of Married with Children. Right after the Jets at the Leafs, tonight at 9:30 on CKND.
Cool.
Hey, everybody.
All I said was, hey, everybody.
That lovable, laughable single guy. Thursday at 7:30 on CKND, Winnipeg TV.
Let's roll.
Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you in part by MTS, Canadian Tire, Winnipeg Jeep Eagle, 1430 Ellis at Arena Road, and by McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
Welcome back to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. And after 2 periods of play, the Leafs and the Jets, after 1 period of play, are tied at 2-2. Take a look now at the summary. The Jets get on the scoreboard first on the power play. Keith Tkachuk, his 42nd of the year, sent up by Oleg Tverdovsky. Tkachuk walked right around Larry Murphy on his way to score that one. Then the Leafs came back on a power play of their own. Dave Andreychuk's 19th goal. And the assist went to Murphy and Gilmore. The Jets recaptured a 1-goal lead. Mike Eastwood his 11th from Shannon and Newman at 14:42. And then at the 19-minute mark, Doug Gilmore scored his 25th, with the assist going to Andreychuk and Presley. In that opening period, the Jets had shot the Leafs 12-6. The Jets 1 for 2 with the man advantage. The Leafs 1 for 3.
Nikolai Habibulin, not much chance on either goal, and I think he got gypped on the shots against. I don't think it was 12-6. I think Nikolai probably had about 10 shots in that period. But either way, the Jets did outplay the Toronto Maple Leafs in that last goal with a minute left. Coaches will tell you the first minute, last minute, you shouldn't leave yourself vulnerable to good scoring chances. And the Jets did. They had a chance to take a shot and keep the puck in front of them. They tried to get a little too fancy. You play 3 games in 4 nights, as the Winnipeg Jets have done. You expect your team to come out the first period and give it their all. The Jets did. Now is the true gut test for the Winnipeg Jets. You're a tired team. You've played the best team in the league, the Detroit Red Wings, in back-to-back games. And now you're in a battle against a team you can jump ahead of in the playoff race. And you want your team to give it all for 3 periods. And the first period, we'll see how tired this team really is. The first period, the Jets looked really good, played a strong road game.
So the second period gets underway, and here's Teppo Numminen. Dumps it into the Leaf zone. Going back to get it is McCowan. Potvin puts it to the corner. Korolev couldn't grab it. Now Finley puts it deep. It's sent back outside, and going to get it there is Mike Stapleton. Gardner after him. It goes over to Numminen. Pass into the middle, goes off Tkachuk. McCowan chased by Korolev. McCowan knocked out the puck by Korolev. He puts it on it. Here's Stapleton. Shot kicked away by Potvin. Now Stapleton against Sundin. It goes to Gardner. Into the middle now McCowan. Against Finlay. Knocked away from him. Yuskevich chased by Tkachuk. Sends it to the Jet line. Finlay tried it for Tkachuk. Tkachuk has to turn. Muller in pursuit. Gets it to Korolev, who dumps it in. And Potvin leaves it there for Yuskevich. On the right side, Gilmore. Up to the Jet line, trying to work by Manson. Leaves the puck there. It's sent back. Shannon gives chase. Andreychuk got there first. And now following up is Thompson. Thompson's pass. That's broken up. It's sent in. Out of the box. A breakaway. Craig fired it wide. Leafs made a change. Mike Craig graded by the puck. Here's Shannon. For Winnipeg, dropped it off, centered it. And now Allen to Gilmore. Gilmore with Craig. Dumped it into the Jet corner. Craig after it quickly. Takes it behind. Cut off there by Manson. 4 of them in behind the Jet goal. And Shannon comes up with it. Shannon gets outside. Flips it to center. Eastwood dumps it in. Potvin. Ahead for Craig. Craig looks rink wide. Andreychuk. Back for Craig. And with it for Winnipeg is Oleg Tverdovsky. He can scoot, starts up the right side, gathers speed, gives it to Gusarov. Gusarov, his shot, rebound. Andreychuk reaching for it, falls. Gusarov knocked out the puck. Gilmore clears it away. Going back is Tverdovsky, but that'll be icing against Toronto.
Nick Beverly, the
Won it 4-3. Here's Warner. Sends it ahead. That's stopped at center ice by Turcotte. Presley puts it up to the jet line. Knocked ahead. Murphy has his pass. Tverdovsky kicks it away. Now Gagne dumped it into jet territory. And Muni trying to clear. That's knocked down by Gagne. It rolls in. And it's picked off by Hababulin, who holds on. I suppose now is the time when we're really going to be able to tell about Nikolai Hababulin. He's had a brilliant season. It's also his longest season in the NHL.
Longest season, but that injury really derailed him. He was on such a roll in every game, so consistent, and now we don't see that consistency. And it's a little tough mentally to get back on that roll when you're playing well night after night. You know you're going to play. You feel so confident in yourself. And now he's had a couple of shaky outings, and you can tell he's not as comfortable as he was during his hot streak earlier in the year.
Here's Tverdovsky for Winnipeg. Moves up the right side. Puts the puck into the middle. Presley sends it back. With it now Warner. Warner against Tverdovsky. Centers. Gagne was tied up by Muni. Presley shot knocked down. He gets another chance. Again, he can't get it through. He'll try a third time. Presley centers it. It goes in behind. And Tverdovsky for Winnipeg. Gives to Captain King, who moves out to center ice. Dumped it into the Leaf zone. Potvin leaves for Murphy. Around to Presley. Presley slowly puts it rink wide. Finley grabs it for Winnipeg and sends it back. Veteran Larry Murphy. Ahead to Presley over 3 lines. 3:15 into the second. It's still a 2-2 tie.
What a great party. Let's not forget introductions. This here is new Molson Ultra. Ultra, this here is the party. Get this. It's a new smooth 6.2% dry beer. Okay? Okay. Basically, you got a strong beer that doesn't feel like you're swallowing a small farm animal. That's my department. Molson Ultra, 6.2% dry. Wickedly smooth beer.
Let me get this straight. I can't use my phone card to phone home to Canada?
With most other cards, you can't make a long-distance call from outside of Canada or the U.S.
Then why do they call it a phone card? Yes, I'd love to ask the company that.
But with MTS calling card service, you can call Canada from over 100 countries worldwide. Another reason why the MTS calling card is the best card, period.
Randy Carlyle in behind the Jets bench. We saw Perry Pern in the intermission talking about the left wing lock, and Randy was talking about scoring chances last night in Detroit, and he had them at 17-10 for the Wings, but they're a good finishing team. And when you're not finishing, you're in big trouble against the Detroit Red Wings. And Randy Carlyle talking to the Zinger, Craig Hessinger standing beside him, and Randy started his NHL career with the Toronto Maple Leafs. People remember the Pittsburgh part of it, naturally the Winnipeg part, but you remember that far back to the Maple Leaf part.
Here's Newman and shot. That's blocked. And Sundin leads the Leafs away. Tried it for Gertner. Broken up by Newman. And it popped out of play. You're talking about the coaches, and we were speaking to them just prior to the game. A little uptight, particularly Terry Simpson.
They were a little uptight. And we were talking about the goaltending of why start Dominic Rossell last night after he hadn't started a game for the Winnipeg Jets. And he was rather testy. And I thought, well, it is a good time to play Dominic. It's a game in Detroit where your chances of winning aren't great. Not, 3 teams have won in Detroit, and you were one of them, but Tim Shovelday played in net. Why not let Dominic Rossell have a try and give Nikolai a rest? Well, you wouldn't want to have any part of that. I played Dominic to win that game.
Now Tkachuk dumps it into the Leaf zone. Yuskevich goes after it. Korolev with him. Now Tkachuk in there as well. Tkachuk trying to center it, and Mike Gartner puts the pass into the middle to Sundin. On the right side from Muller. It goes off him, picked off, cleared away by Finley. And back to get it is Yuskevich. Nearing the 4-minute mark of the second period. 2-2 score. Here's Sundin. Moves it to center. Tkachuk's had a rough go. He took another shot that time as that puck appeared to hit him. It might be the same hit area that he hurt earlier. Here's Muller. Sends it to center. Gartner against Thompson. Eastwood puts it back. Manson with it. Manson to Shannon. Shannon chips it into the middle. Here's Eastwood on the fly. Cutting at the goal. Checked by a sliding Todd Gill. Now with it is Drake.
in the corner. He looks back, trying to feed the point. That's picked off. Muller trying to get by Thompson. Thompson manages to slow him up through illegal means. Now it's Eastwood starting back. Gives to Shannon. Shannon gains the line. Looks back. Takes it down deep. Knocked off the puck by Yuskevich. Here's Drake. Centers Gill. Trying to get the stick on it. Now Domi with it for Toronto. Domi against Manson. Flips it in. Thompson trying to clear. Can't. Domi's pass. Picked off. And with it is Dallas Drake. Looks to Manson. He flips it in. And goes for a change. Zettler back for Toronto. Trying it for Domi. It goes all the way to center. Devernovsky's pass missed by Doan. Goes all the way down. Doan charges after it. Along with Allett, but it's icing against the Winnipeg Jets.
Keith Tkachuk struggled off the ice again. He lost his mouthpiece as he went off. That's just inside the blue line. I wonder if any of the Jets will come over to get it. Well, here's Keith Tkachuk. He's limping out. There's Craig Muni shooting the mouthpiece to the linesman. You always like that. And there's Keith Tkachuk. He's hurt. The mouthpiece pops out. He struggled to the bench, and that's all he came out for, was to get the mouthpiece. Todd Gill does a nice job on Mike Eastwood. Dove got the puck first, and then took Eastwood out.
Mike Eastwood's been going hard to the net tonight, and it paid off in a goal in the first period.
And this doesn't look very good for Keith Tkachuk. He's trying to walk it off in behind the bench. At least he didn't open the far gate and head to the dressing room.
Jets had a big line when they were winning 5 in a row. Now, of course, Eddie Olczyk is out for 4 weeks. Alexei Shamnov is missing his 4th straight game. And Tkachuk is on the limit.
You wonder about Eddie O, who's a free agent at the end of this season, playing so well. I'm sure there's lots of teams interested, and that injury is really a setback for Eddie O.
Here's Devernovsky. Gets it to the blue line. That popped over the stick of Zettler. Puck goes all the way back into lead territory, and with it there is Allett. Chased by Doan. It's put outside. Kilger can't pick it off. Now Gagne gets up to the Jet line, puts it outside. Zettler in. Shot. Rebound. Knocked away. And it's picked up now by Kilger. Couldn't get it out. Shot. Oh, Presley got all of that one, but it missed the net. Kilger again can't get up. Now he'll try. Takes it to center. Puts it on the right side. Here's Doan. And Kilger couldn't redirect. Presley hit by Muni. Puck goes to center ice. Devernovsky trying to escape Warner. Does get the pass for Kilger. Knocked away from him. Following up McKenzie. The big guy takes it deep for Winnipeg. Trying to center it. Huntman knocked it away. Doan behind the goal. Looking for Muni. Now Doan tied up by Allett. Allett sends it to the corner. Muni pinches in. Takes it by Presley. Muni behind the goal. Centered. With it now is King. His shot. Then winds up behind the net. With it there is Kilger. Kilger spun around. A penalty coming up to Dave Allett for holding Chad Kilger.
Some good pressure by the kid line for the Winnipeg Jets. I thought Dave Allett could have had a penalty on Shane Doan on the other side. He got away with that one, and then he takes one. Chad Kilger. After a couple of giveaways in their own zone, the kid line does a good job forechecking. And there it is, Dave Allett. One hand on his stick, reaches around and takes the holding penalty.
Chad Kilger in either way remind you of Keith Primo in his early days as a Red Wing?
Similar, but Keith Primo under Scotty Bowman was not allowed to make offensive plays. Rob Zettler on Shane Doan, good solid hit. And Kilger tries that pass up the middle a little more than Keith Primo, but Kilger skates a little better than Keith Primo did his first couple of years.
You just get the impression of
opportunity here to take the lead. It's a 2-2 hockey game. Here's Muller. Gives to Gilmore. Gilmore moves to center. Gets it on the left side. Here's McCowan. Shot. Then went wide. Puck goes all the way back to center ice. Yuskevich pumps it into the Jet zone. And with it now is Tkachuk. Tkachuk working through a couple of people. Gives it to Newmanen. Newmanen drives it in. Gilmore and Stapleton are there. Gilmore sends it rink wide. Muller
Can't get out. Newman holds it in. Yuskevich ahead now to Gilmore.
Gilmore was over the red line for the two-line pass. That shot by Jamie McCowan, when it missed, Igor Korolev did not read the play, or the Jets had a clean 2-on-1 headed the other way. The Maple Leafs very aggressive with their penalty killing. And you think the crowd will appreciate the Wendell Clark trade? I'm sure they will, but will they next year? They'll appreciate it for the rest of this season.
Well, Wendell was a super popular athlete here in Toronto when he was the captain of the Leafs, and it was a tough trade when they traded him to Quebec for Matt Sundin. But now, Kenny Janssen had become very popular here. Here's Newman. Puts it into Korolev. Back it goes to Newman. Over to Tverdovsky. His shot redirected in front. Stapleton trying to dig it out.
Yeah, the quick whistle by Mick Magoo. The Jets look over, but in Magoo's defense, he couldn't see it. It's on the other side of Dmitry Yuskevich. Magoo's in the corner. He's in the left corner. The shot comes through. Yuskevich goes down. He doesn't have it, but Magoo's in behind him. So Magoo can't see that the puck's loose. The whistle goes to the mouth. It's gone. And a tough break for the Jets.
1:14 left in the penalty to Dave Ellett. Stapleton, Tkachuk up front with Korolev. Newman and back with Tverdovsky, the power play. But that puck,
look out. Low glass here at Maple Leaf Gardens. I think it's the lowest in the league now. Winnipeg's glass, they heightened it. And somebody in the stands got hit. Jamie McCowan tried to play it off the glass. And we look at former defenseman Nick Beverly. And Nick Beverly played here for the Toronto Maple Leafs at one time in his career. Where else did Nick play? He played in Los Angeles, I know, for a while. Played in Cleveland for a while. The old Cleveland NHL team.
Still does little scouting on his days off.
Played in Pittsburgh. Yes, he does. You think he's getting 2 checks?
Gilmore and Stapleton face off. Puck goes in behind the net. Now Tkachuk reaching for it. Comes up with it with some help from Stapleton. Tkachuk goes to the corner. Looking for room. Muller knocked it free, and McCowan cleared it away. 55 seconds left in that penalty to Allen. 2-2 the score. 7.5 gone in the second period as Teppo Newman works to center. Gives it to Stapleton. Stapleton shot. Putman kicked it away. Newman and Muller after it. Now it's in behind the net. Korolev for Tkachuk. Back to the point. Newman. Over now, Tverdovsky. Traffic in front. Tverdovsky's pass goes to Muller, who cleared it away.
And there's the youngster Tverdovsky. That's a low percentage pass, and as he matures, he won't try that one.
With it now, Turcotte. Drake. Turcotte. Into the corner, Shannon. Turcotte looks in front. Nobody there. Turcotte spins, winds up, lets it go wide. Tverdovsky. In now for Gusarov. Over now to Drake. Drake takes it deep. Looks back at Gusarov. Feeds the blue line instead. Tverdovsky shot through traffic. And the save by Putman, who was down in the seas just to have a look. 2-2 as the penalty comes to an end.
Please turn to the Sam the Record Man ad on page 78 of your...
You want to see what Target herbicide does to tough broadleaf weeds like cleavers and Canada thistle? That's what Target does to tough broadleaf weeds. Target can now be tank mixed with New Horizon.
Bonjour, Clam. To create Wendy's new country French chicken sandwich, Dave not only studied French, he became French.
Oui.
So when he took Wendy's seasoned whole breast filet, processed Swiss, and Dijon mustard sauce and placed it all on a delicious country French roll, what was left to say?
Dave, votre nouveau poulet très bon. Muchas gracias.
Wendy's new country French chicken. C'est magnifique.
In the intermission, Dirt Devil Trivia. Conversation with Gary Wilson and Joe Pascucci. And a look at the MTS scoreboard. Plenty of action tonight, including Ottawa leading 3-0 at home over Dallas. And, of course, the Stars interested in making a playoff run. That's one they need to win.
They were on a roll. They went into Montreal and lost that one, and now Ottawa. That's one you would almost assume they'd win for sure. And teams don't like to say their scoreboard watching it. How many teams have you heard, Kirk? Well, we don't worry about that. We don't worry about that. We worry about our own game. We're playing our own game here. That's all we worry about. But you watch the guys sitting on the bench. They're looking up at both ends to see the scoreboards, and it's just a natural thing.
Sundin against Eastwood. Both bombs at full strength. Here's Manson. Shot. Up and a save. It goes now to Shannon. Shannon back behind the net. Eastwood. Eastwood against Murphy. Drake trying to drag it out. Whole pile of players in behind the Leaf goal. Now it goes to Shannon. Shannon comes up, gets it back to Muni. Tried it for Drake that hit the referee Magoo. Drake comes up with it anyway. Gives to Eastwood. Eastwood against Murphy. Now Drake moves in. Gives to Eastwood. This is where this line is at its best. Drake, Eastwood, and Shannon cycling in the corner. Shannon now trying to work in front, and that was knocked away. Back it goes into the jet zone. Manson to center ice Shannon. Shannon against Murphy. And it's dumped into jet territory. Going for it there is Manson. 9:15. Gone in the second period. The score remains 2-2, and that's icing Winnipeg.
Canadian Tire has great prices on everything you need. Plus, earn Canadian Tire money with every cash purchase of merchandise. Great prices made better at Canadian Tire.
Toronto Maple Leafs using Nick Kiprios as the center between Matt Sundin and Mike Gartner on that last shift, and now the Gilmore line comes out. They've been very good, and this is the best I've seen Dave Andreychuk play, and maybe he's showcasing himself. Dave Andreychuk, this is the best he's played all this season for sure. Lots of GMs from other teams here watching the Leafs, and I think Cliff Fletcher would like to unload a $2 million contract because he's taken on 4 with Clark and Matthew Schneider.
Trading deadline a week away. Newman gets it ahead to Kachuk, who leads the Jets to center ice. Long shot. That goes wide. Gilmore back to get it. Takes it behind the net. Jets have outshot the Leafs 7-1 in this second period. But the score remains 2-2. Domi dumps it into Jet territory. And back forward is Newman. Newman's pass ahead. Turcotte lost the puck. It goes down to Domi. He flips it across to McCowan. McCowan's pass dumped in. Back forward is King. And it popped over the glass. It's a souvenir. It's now the oldest building, the oldest active building in the NHL. For the retirement of the Forum.
I wonder if the hot dog makers at the auctioned off from the Montreal Forums are functional. Did you buy one for your house? Did you have somebody at the Forum bidding on that $1,000 hot dog machine from the Montreal Forum?
Absolutely. We're going to sell them right in front of the Winnipeg Arena. Yes. All the other hot dog stands.
Yeah. There's a look at Mike Foligno. He's one of 3 players who has over 300 goals and 2,000 penalty minutes in the NHL. He's just up from St. John's with the Pat Burns firing. And look at Terry Simpson looking on with concern. These Jets carrying the play. But their scoring chances this period, they have 7 shots, but how many good scoring chances? They really haven't had any on Felix Potvin this period.
The other 2, of course, of the 3, Rick Tocchet and Pat Verbeek.
Very sharp.
It's Kachuk.
Double trivia, second intermission.
Sends it all the way down the ice, and back to get it is Gill. Gill sends it out to center. Warner, right side, Presley. After a dip, Presley with Tverdovsky. It's knocked behind the net, and with it there, Thompson for Winnipeg. Pass goes ahead. Here's Tverdovsky with Stapleton. Back for Tverdovsky. He was being hampered by Gagne. Now Stapleton in behind the goal. Stapleton centers. Traffic in front. It goes to Kachuk. He whirled around but got nothing on it. It's sent out to center. Kachuk gets Warner off. Gagne and Korolev battle for it. Now it goes to Gill. Gill up across the Jet line. Lets the long shot go. It goes to the corner. Very good in front. A quick shot by Warner. And the save by Habibulin. Here comes Korolev for Winnipeg. Along with Stapleton and Kachuk. Korolev trying to feed it through instead of just hammering it. And now Yaskevich starts back. He gets up across the line. Stops, puts it over. Presley in deep. Presley trying to be fancy. And now the Jets start back. Stapleton. Stopped by Andreychuk. Kachuk dumps it all the way down. And that'll be icing against Winnipeg. 2-2 with 8:40 left in the second period.
Have you heard the news? Everybody's talking about Crazy for You, the all-singing, all-dancing, all-Gershwin musical comedy you'd be crazy to miss. It's got romance, dancing, timeless Gershwin hits, and plenty of laughs. Winner of the 1992 Tony Awards for Best Musical, Best Choreography, and Best Costumes. You're guaranteed to go crazy for Crazy for You.
March 19th through 21st at the Walker Theater. For tickets, call 780-3333.
I don't know if they're teenagers or eating machines. They're still growing. They consume massive quantities of food. They don't stop. Those big guy dinners, just appetizers to them. But this new chunky chicken pot pie from KFC sure helps fill them up. It's got big chunks of chicken. I mean, there's actually chicken in every bite. It helps keep them going until the next feeding.
The delicious new chunky chicken pot pie from KFC. Try one now. They're only $3.99 for a limited time.
Against Drake. Now it goes to Manson and behind the goal. Watched there by Domi. Now pass for Shannon, knocked away. Drake gets it to the blue line. Murphy shot. That went over top. Eastwood looked ahead for Shannon. The pass was behind him, and Murphy has it. Gets it ahead now to Domi. Domi sends it back, and with it, Yuskevich tried it for Andrechuk to Domi. Domi stopped by Shannon. With it is Manson. Pass into the middle. Grabbed by Gilmore. Gilmore working with it. Trying to sidestep Manson. There's going to be a penalty to Manson. Domi to Gilmore. Out front, Andrechuk beats nobody. And he's lucky he didn't direct that toward the net because there's nobody home. Puck goes all the way back. Yuskevich to Andrechuk. To Domi. Andrechuk. Sundin. Leafs with 6 attackers. Delayed penalty to Manson as Sundin gets over the line. Thompson gets to the puck and play is called.
Dave Manson is beaten along the boards by Doug Gilmore, faked inside and then went outside, and Dave Manson was standing still, so he reached out and grabbed him. Manson standing still. There comes the left arm out. That's a good call by Mick Magoo. That's a hold. And then Dave Andrechuk threw it back. The defense had pinched in, as you said, Kurt. Good thing that was along the wall and not down the middle, right in the net. 12-16, the time of the penalty, and Winnipeg Jets, who have carried the play here in the second period, are starting to look like they're a little bit tired.
The Leafs are 1 for 3 with a man advantage. The goal was scored by Dave Andrechuk. It was Andrechuk and Gilmore scoring for Toronto in the first. Tkachuk and Eastwood for Winnipeg.
Now with Muni gone, and Dave Manson in the penalty box, the defensive core gets a little short. I'm sure we'll see Teppo Numminen for the full 2 minutes of this penalty kill.
Here's Muller and Stapleton. Now Murphy trying to put it in. Numminen's pass. Here's Tkachuk trying to break away. He's got Gill cutting in. Tkachuk trying to get the shot away, and it went just wide. Now Murphy starts back. It's up to center, gives to Gartner. He pumps it in, goes after it quickly. Hababulin one-hands it along the boards. Pinching in now is Gill from Muller, checked by Numminen. It goes to Stapleton, to Numminen, and he dumps it the distance. A minute 27 left in the penalty to Dave Manson. Here's Gartner, puts it across. Helen working there against Taverdowski. His shot redirected, save rebound. Muller looks in front. Sundin had gone behind where he takes the pass. Sundin looks in front. Gartner in behind. Gartner check. Puck goes back. Sundin. Here's Ellen's drive. And the save by Nikolai Hababulin.
Habibulin made a great save on Matt Sundin, probably his toughest save of this period on that tip-in try on the rush for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Matt Sundin goes to the net. Nikolai Habibulin reads the play. He's there, he's down, he's alert, and that's his toughest save of this second period. Nice play by Teppo Newman and the long pass to Keith Tkachuk, but he had problems. He had to reach behind him to get it. Todd Gill catches up, steers the puck away.
Well, Nikolai Habibulin, not surprisingly, needs a water break with Teppo Newman having fought the first 58 seconds of that penalty. And Teppo, oddly enough, is still on the ice.
Well, and this is a good stall by Nikolai Habibulin. He does it all the time and lets Teppo Newman grab his breath.
So Stapleton and Gilmore face off to the right of Habibulin. Here's Hallett with it now. Hallett's pass. Yuskevich shot. In front of the Jets scores.
Jeff Finley is having problems with Dave Andreychuk tonight. We saw on Andreychuk's first goal, Finley tipped the pass. This time, he just can't handle Andreychuk in front. And Andreychuk again kicks the puck up. There's Teppo Newman on Andreychuk. Finley comes in, and it's Finley's man. And he just can't handle it. And Andreychuk again, feet to the stick. Such great dexterity for a big man. Kicked it over, and then on the backhand beats Nikolai Habibulin. Dave Andreychuk is doing a good job of showcasing himself tonight. Here's the shot from Yuskevich. Watch Andreychuk. It's bouncing, kicks it with his right foot to the backhand and snaps it in on the backhand.
Second of the night, 20th of the season for Dave Andreychuk. And for the first time, the Leafs have a lead. It's 3-2. As once again, penalty killing is proving a problem for the Winnipeg Jets, who surrendered 4 power play goals last night at the Joe Louis in Detroit.
We talked to the coaching staff about that last night, and they said, well, Detroit's a little different team. They have that great passing. Paul Coffey, you never know what he's going to do, but the Leafs are just on hard work, down low. Hard to handle Dave Andreychuk in front. And Cliff Fletcher would love to get rid of Dave Andreychuk. I think, although the way he's playing tonight, maybe they'll want to keep him for their stretch drive. It seems like money is no object for the Leafs. The way they've signed Kirk Muller and now Wendell Clark and Schneider.
Here's Gilmore, deep for Toronto, spins with it. Gilmore looks in front, Gill trying to move in. Gilmore couldn't get on the puck, but now Craig will give it a try. He feeds it in front, and with it is King. King looks over to Turcotte. Turcotte gets it over. Here's Gusarov. Can't get a good shot away. And now Craig starts back for Toronto. With Gilmore to his left, it takes the pass. In deep now for Craig. Behind the net, handed it to Manson. And Manson puts it ahead to King. King's pass for Turcotte. Cut off by Allen. Gill is back. Gusarov goes after him. Thompson missed it. Here's Andreychuk with Gilmore. Andreychuk shot. Habibulin wasn't sure, but he made the save. Here's King. Away for Winnipeg. Gilmore after him. King goes outside. Feeds it across the goal mouth. Moving in now, Tverdovsky takes it deep. Penalty coming to Gilmore. And Tverdovsky inadvertently ran into Gilmore, but it's not going to change anything because Gilmore had been doing a bit of a number down in the corner on King and is going to be sent off for roughing.
And that seems to be the way. Doug Gilmore has drawn a couple of penalties tonight. Chris King is the latest victim. Ravo Guzmanov has been very good playing with Darren Turcotte tonight. They seem to have a little magic. There's the hit, Tverdovsky on Gilmore. That was after the penalty. Chris King had taken his penalty before that, and he has a few words with Gilmore. Gilmore's that kind of guy that gets under your skin. He weighs about 165 pounds, and yet he tries to play like he's 210. He's always got his stick in your face. He's yappy on the ice. He's very aggressive, and it's tough for a guy like Chris King, who is used to handling guys like Darren McCarty last night, or Sandy McCarthy, people like that, and then you have Gilmore in your face all night.
I thought it was Gilmore had the penalty. It's King. Tverdovsky had the puck. King roughing at 14:34. Here's Murphy. Gets it over to Yuskevich. The Leafs to the man advantage. They've scored twice in the power play. Both goals by Andreychuk. Murphy puts it ahead to Gartner. Helped in behind the net. Tverdovsky. Gets it to Shannon, can't get it out. Muller's trying to feed it through. Now Yuskevich into Sundin. Sundin gets away from Tverdovsky. Here with it is Yuskevich into the corner. Muller, Sundin, shot. That went wide. And it's all the way down the ice.
When you have problems with your penalty killing, you get a chance to get it out. You have to make sure. There, Darren Shannon had a chance to get it out. Messed around with it. The Leafs kept it in and had a scoring chance.
Dallas Drake goes after it, can't reach it. Now Gartner in Dave Sundin. Sundin looks back, feeds Yuskevich at the point. Traffic in front, gives to Sundin. Gartner and Muller are there. Here's Gartner in front. Then was poked away by Turcotte. It's centered. Yuskevich holds it. Gets it over now to Sundin. 52 seconds left in the man advantage. Pass in front. One up behind Murphy. Now with it is Muller. Muller's pass. Here to Gardner. Can't get the shot away. And Drake clears it out. 35 seconds left in the penalty to Chris King. 3-2, the Leafs lead. Gilmore leads the power play to center. Gets over the line. Takes it deep. Here's Gilmore behind the goal. He's going in and shot wide. Back to get it is Gill. 19 seconds left in that penalty to King. 3:40 left in the second period. Here's Gilmore. With Andrechuk and Gagne. Gives to Gagne. He works it deep. Finley is there. Trying to clear. Puck goes to Gagne. Gagne looks in deep. Into Gilmore. Gilmore centers. Here's Elliott. The penalty's over. Shot wide. Gill. Hit by King, would just come out of the box. Now Finley tried to clear. Here's Andrechuk. We got a fight. King.
And Todd Gill. And this was that hit, Chris King on Gill. When he came out of the penalty box, it was a good hit, a solid hit. Chris King had this act going last night when he had Fedosov. And it's got to be tiring for Chris King. There's nothing that drains you more than a scrum that goes on for minutes and minutes. Chris King had that last night, and now Chris King is saying, okay, who gets the instigator penalty in this one?
Well, we'll let you know if there is an instigator infraction called when we return.
Hi, I'm Gerald Wilcox. As you may know, I play a little football here in Manitoba. I've realized to be the best at what you do, to be a true professional and winner, requires a lot of hard work and dedication. And a real competitive attitude sure doesn't hurt. You know who's got it, don't you?
You got it, Park Pontiac.
The difference is, you got it, the people at Park Pontiac.
If you were to ask what's new on the horizon for wheat growers, we'd have one word. A word that delivers better and more consistent control of wild oats and wild millet. A word that offers you the widest range of tank mixes. A word that gives you a special wild oat rate to save you money. That word is Horizon.
Now, a week from tonight, the Jets will brace for a shark attack. Their next home game. In fact, it's the trading deadline, so there could be some new faces of either team by then. The San Jose Sharks and Winnipeg Jets. A week from tonight at the Winnipeg Arena. Lots of tickets left.
San Jose Wednesday, Philly on Friday, and Colorado on Sunday. Todd Gill gets the extra 2 minutes for roughing. And the Jets have a power play and a chance to leave on a positive note here in the second period.
Jets 1 for 3 with a man advantage. Tkachuk, Stapleton, Korolev, Newman, Tverdovsky. The power play. Gilmore is out with Muller. Yuskevich, McCowan. Now McCowan drives into the Jet zone. Newman goes after it with Muller. Muller kicks it deep. Tverdovsky goes back with Gilmore. Puck sent around to Stapleton. Mike Stapleton away for Winnipeg. Gets up to the leaf line, dumps it in. Tkachuk in after it. Tkachuk stops. Muller grabs it, clears it, and with it now is Newman. Just under 3 minutes left in the second period. A minute and a half left in the lead penalty. 3-2, the Leafs lead. Here's Tkachuk. Gets over the Toronto line. Tkachuk trying to work his way through. McCowan took it and cleared it.
They ended up calling that high sticking on Todd Gill, but a good play by Chris King. Good solid hit, and he drew the penalty. Gill went after him, and the Jets have the power play.
Here's Oleg Tverdovsky. Gains the Leaf line. Stops at the point. Looks in deep, trying to set it up. Gives to Numminen. Here's Drake. Back, Tverdovsky. Back to Drake. Pass across. Here's Gosarov trying to get it away. Trying to flip it around and couldn't. And now back with it is Toronto. Presley moves to center. Gets it up. Here's Korolev. Gives it now to Drake. Drake gets in across the line. Out in front. Guzman shot. And the save is made as Guzmanov had moved into position as he had earlier.
Guzmanov was on the forehand, but he just couldn't handle it. The hard pass came across, and Guzmanov tried to spin to his backhand. Bravo, Guzmanov with a chance to get the Jets back even, and you miss those opportunities, and it's not long before the coach never plays you on the power play. That was a good chance. He was on his forehand. The pass came across hard, and he just couldn't handle it.
37 seconds left in that penalty to the Leafs. Just under 2 minutes left in this second period. Drake out between Shannon and Guzmanov. Manson is back with Turcotte. Jets with 4 forwards on this power play. Manson, his shot. That's blocked by Ellett. Ellett can't get it out. Shannon, Drake, moving in. Over to Guzmanov. Back to Turcotte. Over now to Manson. Manson's pass into Guzmanov. Manages to free himself of a check. Now puts it in deep to Shannon. Back to Guzmanov. Drake is in front. Guzmanov chased back by McCowan. Puts it in behind the net. Drake is there. Gives to Shannon. Shannon trying to wrap it around. Was cut off by McCowan. Ellett in traffic. Sends it to the corner. Shannon goes after it with Gilmore. Now Domi comes out having served that minor penalty. And the Leafs back at full strength. Manson approached by Domi. The pass goes all the way down the ice, but Cowan is back. Into the final minute of the second period. 3-2, Toronto leads. Here's Ty Domi. Flips it high. And going back to get it is Thompson. Domi knocked it down. Tkachuk comes up with it with Korolev. Tkachuk goes outside, trying to center it. Korolev reaches for it, and now Ellett for Toronto. Manages to flip it ahead. Here's Andrechuk, who's got a couple of goals. Gives it to Ty Domi. Domi cutting at the net. Knocked away. Now it's centered. With it is Andrechuk. Domi's in for shot. And the save is made by Habibulin. Here's Korolev with Tkachuk. 12 seconds in the period. Over now for Stapleton. He falls. Yuskevich behind his net. Around it goes to Gartner. That goes all the way down, and that should just about do it for this second period.
Nikolai Habibulin has looked at 15 shots here in the first 2 periods, and it's the power play. It's the special teams again that are hurting the Winnipeg Jets, but part of the special teams is the goaltending. And we saw Nikolai when he was on a roll, he'd make those big saves time and time again. And when he's on this little down run that he's on now, the puck's not hitting him.
So the Leafs score the only goal of the second period. Stand by. We'll hear from Kerry Wilson in conversation with Joe Pascucci. The Leafs 3, the Jets 2 after 2.
Q94 FM. It's all you need to put on.
Wow! This Office of the Day stuff is really take your law. It's a party!
I grew up here in Winnipeg watching the CFL.
Kurt Keelback down on the basement floor at Jim Gauthier, home of Manitoba's largest indoor used car selection. You'll find every make, every model, every shape, every selection. In fact, at any given time, 12 months a year, in excess of 50 vehicles, 50 used vehicles on the floor, the basement floor, here at Jim Gauthier, Chevrolet's Geo Cadillac, home of the big buy.
On McPhillips, north of Inkster.
What if this spring, every Canadian spoke out against racism? And what if each voice was multiplied by those of millions of people all over the world? Would yours be one of the voices we'd hear? Spring, free from racism.
Special teams were a difference last night against the Winnipeg Jets and could be again tonight. Maple Leafs with 2 power play goals, and they lead the Jets by 1, 3-2 after 2 periods of play at Maple Leaf Gardens. And special teams can win you games and they can lose you games, and right now it's losing the Jets a game.
Well, it has, and the Jets have been struggling in their penalty killing, and tonight the same thing is happening. The Leafs have come out, they've gotten a couple of power play goals, and the Jets have got to find some answers.
Game was tied at 2 when the Jets had a good scoring opportunity, and it came while they were shorthanded.
Well, you got to figure if they're doing all this penalty killing, maybe they should go on a bit of offense at the same time. Newmanen picks up a loose puck and zips it up to Tkachuk, and it was too bad he had a tough time getting a handle on it because Todd Gill was able to catch and make a good defensive play, but you know, a good chance from Tkachuk there, and unfortunately couldn't get a stick on it.
And for a player who's supposedly going to be traded tomorrow, Dave Andreychuk is having himself a pretty good night. 2 power play goals, and a second one was his 20th of the season.
Well, you got to wonder what case he's setting up for himself, to be traded or to stay with the Leafs, but he's doing a tremendous job this evening. The Leafs win the draw on a simple shot from the point, and there's Andreychuk in his office, so to speak, tips it in, and he's a tough player to move, a big player with a lot of weight, and I think the Jets have got a key on getting tighter to him, get his stick, somehow get him off balance so that he can't get a piece of a deflection.
During that specific Leafs power play, Dave Manson was in the penalty box and Craig Muni was unavailable because of the leg injury, so they were really hurting. They had to play Newmanen for obviously the entire time they were shorthanded, and I think he was getting tired. Here's another opportunity for the Maple Leafs.
Well, you see here, Doug Gilmour again shows what speed can do coming up on the defense. Dave Manson opens the gap up a little bit too much and has to make an attempt to stop that play early. He gets caught on his heels. Doug Gilmour takes it around, makes a good play back to his partner, and they get a tremendous shot on net. But, you know, it's a case there. The Jets have got to get their act together, either hold the line or you know, close the gap so they can be backing up with speed and they don't get caught walking around and flat-footed.
And they have to take more quality shots on goal on Felix Potvin. They had a power play late in that second period, and Ravel Guzmanov had a great chance, but didn't get much of a shot away.
No, he didn't, but you see here that he's a shifty player. He's going to be an offensive threat someday in the NHL. Right now, he's just sort of getting his bearings. Does an excellent job here, picks it up. You see a good shift fake and gets a shot away, and that's what the Jets are looking for. Start creating more opportunities, throw things at the net and see what happens. I mean, you got to give that youngster credit there for making that move and getting the shot away.
Well, 6 times so far this season, the Jets have come from behind when trailing after 2 periods to win a hockey game. We'll see if they can do it again tonight. The Maple Leafs leading the Jets by a score of 3-2. Coming up on our telecast, Dirt Devil Trivia, CKND Newsline Update, and we'll have the MTS Out-of-Town Scoreboard.
In Canada, Z comes first. Because Z stands for more value, more low prices, more money back, and more free rewards. In Canada, Z comes first. Because Z stands for Zellers, where the lowest price is the law every day.
Who's got the most wicked deals on wheels? Park Pontiac's got it. Catch the excitement. Right now, we've got the largest inventory of Sunfires ever. And more selection means you get the most competitive prices.
You got it, Park Pontiac.
Wicked.
Wendy's new country French chicken tastes so delicious.
Bonjour, Dave. Bonjour.
It has everyone speaking French. Could it be Wendy's country French roll?
Comment ça va, Dave? Bien.
The processed Swiss topped with Dave's tangy Dijon sauce.
Bonjour, Dave.
Bonjour.
Or Wendy's seasoned whole breast filet.
C'est magnifique. Merci.
Whatever. It's a sandwich so delicious, only Dave could have made it.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Bonjour, mes amis.
He's got to be stopped.
Come try Wendy's new country French chicken.
Play Safeway Score and Win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win an IBM Aptiva multimedia computer, a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven, Dirt Devil's MVP and Dust Devil from Royal Appliance, or $300 in MasterCard traveler's checks from the Bank of Montreal. You could also win a trip or two to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway's participating products, Unico Pasta and Safeway Select Indulgence Cheesecakes. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
This CKND Newsline update is brought to you by AM 1290 Talk Radio. Talk with an attitude.
I'm Kristen Firth. Coming up tonight on Newsline, single city moms say they can't cope with new provincial slashes to welfare rates. Barry Burns will have the results on the strike vote from St. Boniface Hospital. 1,500 workers threaten to paralyze the city's second largest hospital. Also, as many as 120 Air Canada maintenance workers could be off the job by the end of March. More from the pediatric cardiac inquest at Winnipeg's Health Sciences Center. Why a suicidal gunman opened fire on an elementary school in Scotland today. At least 16 children under the age of 6 were killed, dozens others injured. The story on that and the shocking crime escapade of some California youths. They videotaped themselves shooting and hitting pedestrians as they drove by. Details at 10:30.
There are hundreds of ways to get in shape and hundreds more to stay in shape. You'll find them all at Athlete's Wear. For a professional workout at home, the Weider Viper Home Gym can pump you up. This heavy-duty Weider Home Gym provides up to 200 pounds resistance. And right now, you'll save $50. Athlete's Wear, still the right choice.
The choice is there. Athlete's Wear.
What's so special about the 96 Chevy S10 Extended Cab? Well, let's see. You start with a price of $16,495. That's good. Take the independent suspension the Ranger doesn't have and tear up the middle using your superior horsepower. Now, just when Ranger is quaking in his boots, you fake him out with your four-wheel anti-lock brakes. Another S10 Advantage. And pow! Slam him to the ground by including freight and PDI. Did you see that? $16,495 including freight and PDI. Well, that's a big play by one terrific truck. Too bad about the other guy. He got rocked.
Dirt Devil presents Red Hot Trivia. Brought to you by Dirt Devil, makers of the MVP vacuum. Nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil. Who holds the NHL record for the most points in a season by a rookie defenseman? We'll have the answer right after this.
Put the power of an upright in the palm of your hand with a Dirt Devil hand vac. It's lightweight, powerful, and has a revolving brush to deep clean any surface. Put it to work for you, and you'll see why nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil.
We're proud to announce that this model not only passed that famous ball bearing test, it surpassed it. It's the Dirt Devil MVP with maximum vacuum power. Just think what it can do in your home.
Who holds the NHL record for the most points in a season by a rookie defenseman? Need a hint? Both players are still playing in the NHL. Only 2 defensemen have ever scored over 70 points in their rookie season. The last player to accomplish the feat scored 23 goals in his rookie year, a record that still stands. Ryan Leach was the 9th pick overall in the 1986 draft, and 3 years later, in his first full season, he collected 71 points and was Rookie of the Year in the NHL. The defenseman that holds the record was the 4th overall pick in the 1980 draft by the Los Angeles Kings. Larry Murphy is now 3rd all-time in points for a defenseman behind Paul Coffey and Raymond Bourque. And in 1980-81, he started out his career with 76 points, good enough for runner-up for the Calder Trophy.
Here's Taylor, right side, up the middle. Larry Murphy, left point. He shoots. Score!
Larry Murphy and Brian Leach, the top two scoring rookie defensemen in NHL history. Another red-hot trivia brought to you by Dirt Devil, makers of the MVP vacuum. Nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil.
Promotional consideration provided by Optex Binoculars. Superior quality, deluxe features, excellent value, all backed by an industry-leading no-fault warranty. See your retailer today.
As a physiotherapist, I've seen the results of many accidents or mistakes on the roads. I had to work with a young couple who had been thrown from their motorcycle, and they had been hit on their right side, and they both lost their right legs. They had a long haul, a long rehabilitation process. Watch out for motorcycles. It's very important that all Manitobans become road wise.
The Big Easy at Jim Gauthier. What is it? Well, basically, it's just a simple system whereby you and the big guy share ownership in a vehicle for 2, 3, 4 years. When the term is up, you've got 3 options to choose from. You can either purchase the vehicle at a guaranteed low price, you can take out another for 2, 3, or 4 years, or you can simply walk away. The Big Easy, part of the package here at Jim Gauthier Chevrolet Geo Cadillac, home of the big buy.
On McPhillips, north of Inkster.
Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you in part by Reimer Express, Park Pontiac Buick GMC, and by Athletes Wear.
So it's 3-2 Toronto going into the third period. A look at the summary of the first two. Keith Tkachuk opened the scoring for the Winnipeg Jets on the power play. Tavernowski drew the assist. Tkachuk's 42nd. Dave Andreychuk on the power play tied it with his 19th. Murphy and Gilmore drew the assist. The Jets took a 2-1 lead. Mike Eastwood's 11th from Shannon and Newmanen. And then the first period wound up when Gilmore scored from Andreychuk and Presley with 1 minute to go in the period. And 1 goal in that second period. Dave Andreychuk is second of the game, 20th of the season. Hit 2 came on the power play. Iskevich and Ellett drew the assist. 3-2 going into the third period of play. Shots on goal through 2 periods. The Jets have outshot the Leafs 20-15. The Jets 1 for 4 with a man advantage. The Leafs 2 for 5 on the power play.
Terry Simpson trying to get everything he can out of this team. They've got a few days off before they play against Philly, and that's Saturday night. Well, not a couple of days anyway to get to Philly and then rest a little before that one.
Here's Stapleton in behind the net. Both clubs at full strength to start this third period. Stapleton gives to Ketchuk. Ketchuk puts it over for Finlay. That was picked out by Sundin. His pass for Gartner. Newman grabs it, trying to throw it out. Can't Muller. Trying to poke it through, and Newman starts away 3-on-2 for Winnipeg. He's got Stapleton with him, who takes the pass. Stapleton shot off the shoulder of Potvin. The Leafs come back 2-on-1. With it now, Gartner with Sundin. Here's Gartner, fakes it, works in deep, takes it behind. And the 2-on-1 against Thompson went for naught. Here's Sundin. Puts it in deep. Thompson behind the goal. Wraps it around on the glass. Held in by Murphy to Gartner. Knocked behind. Thompson with it now for Winnipeg. Manages to send it off the glass all the way down. And back to get it is Gilmore. He's been everywhere tonight. Gilmore puts it off the glass. That goes by Craig all the way down the ice, and back forward is Manson.
Knocked down with a high stick at center ice. Nikolai Habibulin played that 2-on-1 perfectly, and Mike Gartner is not easy because he shoots the puck so hard. Gartner came down the right wing, faked the shot. Nikolai stayed right with him, stayed on his feet, and forced Gartner to end up behind the net.
Gardner's next goal will be his 30th, and he'll be the first guy ever to have 16 seasons of 30 goals and more.
Look at John Paddock, and we talked about the GMs here watching Dave Andrechuk, but how about John Paddock with Alexei Zhamnov? Is he shopping Alex around?
Well,
contract problems? Might not be able to sign him. Lots of teams would be interested in Alexei Zhamnov.
Zhamnov not dressed tonight. He's still got that back problem. Here's Gilmore trying to work it in front, loose puck. They kick at it. Andrechuk was there. Now it goes to Shannon. Shannon and Craig. Shannon flips it high, and back to get it is Murphy. At his own line, watched there by Eastwood. Gives to Ellett. Ellett's pass back to Murphy. Murphy puts it out to center. With it there, Drake to Thompson. Thompson's pass to Shannon. Shannon waits. Now has to wait longer. Puts it in, grabbed there by Drake. Drake on the move, takes it down to the corner. In behind the net, Drake pulls it into the corner. Shannon. Shannon is checked by Gilmore. Stopped at the point. Dumped back in. Now Gilmore to Andrechuk. Andrechuk gives it to Murphy. Murphy looks in front, fires it. Didn't get much on it. Puck goes down to Gilmore. Stopped by Shannon. Gilmore persists. Dumps it in behind the net. With it there, Presley throws it in front. Drake trying to knock it out. He does. And with it now is Ellett. Zettler who drives it back in. Newman with it for Winnipeg. Newman against Presley. Presley throws it in front. Warner was wrapped up by Guzmanov. Tverdovsky can't get out. Zettler has it at center. 2:40 gone in the third. The Leafs lead the Jets 3-2. Oleg Tverdovsky behind his goal for Winnipeg. Watched there by Gagne. Now looks for room. Sends it up the middle to Guzmanov at center ice. He fires it in deep. Potvin for Warner. Puts it into the middle. Grabbed there by Turcotte. Turcotte goes into the corner with it. Guzmanov and Gagne are there. Guzmanov trying to draw a high-sticking penalty. It goes down to Turcotte. Turcotte all the way back to the blue line, trying to escape Warner. Turcotte and Warner both go down. Warner kicks it to Gagne, and he cleared it out. Going back is Finlay. Greg Muni did not return. He went off in the second period, didn't join the team to come out in the third. Here's Allen, puts it in front. Knocked down. Puck is flipped high, and that's out of play. 3-2, the Leafs lead, 3.5 into the third.
What a great party. Let's not forget introductions. This here is new Molson Ultra. Ultra, this here is the party. Get this. It's a new smooth 6.2% dry beer. Okay? Okay. Basically, you got a strong beer that doesn't feel like you're swallowing a small farm animal. That's my department. Molson Ultra, 6.2% dry, wickedly smooth beer.
Roger gets home late. Goes to Kitchen for Coffee. Discovers Coffee Mate specialty flavors. Roger tries Swiss Mocha. Everyday coffee becomes specialty coffee. Roger is really impressed. Wonders why he's never had them before. I walk in. Roger understands. Roger is in the wrong house. Specialty flavors from Coffee Mate.
Aaron Turcotte was talking things over with Jeff Finley at the bench. Finley's going to have to play more. Craig Muni has a full groin, and we saw him limp off at the second period. And as you mentioned, Kurt, he did not return for the third.
(3-2), the Leafs lead. Sundin flanked by Gartner and Muller. Stapleton out with Korolev and Tkachuk. It goes back to Allen. Drives it into Jet territory. Gartner after it there. Now Tkachuk gives to Stapleton. A pass ahead. The Jets start away 3-on-2. Here's Tkachuk over to Tverdovsky. Tverdovsky slides it at the net. Potvin knocked it away, and the net was dislodged.
Dmitry Yuskevich came back, knocked the net off, and so the face-off is deep in the Toronto zone. McMagoo sets it back on its plastic peg. Jerry Simpson trying to get his team going again to shoot the puck more. They've shot it a couple times here in the second period, but haven't been able to get through the Leaf defense and get to the net for any rebounds. John Paddock looks on, and
here's Manson, faked it, now puts it across. Tverdovsky shot and went wide. Stapleton in behind. Korolev. Yellen wraps him up. It's kick loose. Tkachuk shot, and Potvin the save.
Potvin is really hard to beat on the wraparounds. He's much like Eddie Belfour, and there's next Wednesday before that game against the San Jose Sharks. We'll see lots of trades.
Here's Finley with it. Puts it in deep. Now McCowan is checked by Shannon. Finley pinches in, gets it to Drake. Checked by Murphy. Gilmore and Shannon will meet. Puck goes to Craig. Puck beneath Shannon. Craig drags it out. Newman and holds it in. His pass. Finley falls. Loose puck. McCowan floats across for Craig, but Finley got back to intercept. Here's Andrechuk. Drake knocked it free. McCowan checked by Shannon. Eastwood gives chase. Shannon goes to the front of it. Eastwood back to Drake. Here's Drake for Shannon. Back to Drake. With it now. Thompson lets it go. Deflected. Save.
Yes, that's it. And Mick Magoo immediately pointed at the net. That was knocked in. And I don't think it was knocked in with a high stick. Brent Thompson took the original shot, and it came through a maze of players. Dallas Drake had the original chance. It goes back to Brent Thompson, and he lets it go. And now it's batted in. I think it's batted in by one of the Leafs. They're trying. Brent Thompson takes the shot. It's off Felix Potvin, and yes, it's batted in by Doug Gilmore. He bats it into his own net.
Says number 3, Brent Thompson.
So it's a 3-3 hockey game.
They're giving the goal to Mike Eastwood.
Mike
Eastwood gets credit for the goal. He might have tipped that shot from Brent Thompson on the way in. And they can go upstairs and look at that. I hope they do, because they'll see that Doug Gilmore was the one that batted it into his own net. Here comes Mike Eastwood, does tip that puck. That's why he gets credit. Eastwood tips it, and then Gilmore's trying to clear it. And instead of clearing it, he bats it into his own net.
Second goal of the night for Mike Eastwood, his 12th of the season. It's a 3-3 hockey game. Eastwood from Thompson and Drake, the official on that goal. Pocket center ice with it is Presley. Presley's pass picked up by Guzmanov. He lost it. And now it goes back to Manson. Pass for King. King flips it. And going to get it is Guzmanov. It's left. Turcotte puts it behind the net. McCowan with it. Gets it to the blue line and out. It's taken away. With it now is Kiprio. Shot, save, rebound. Knocked in behind the net. Thompson. Send it around on the glass that goes to center. And with it is McCowan. Leaves it for Murphy. Back to McCowan. 5.5 gone in the third. Score is tied. 3-3. Presley puts it into Manson. With it now for Winnipeg. Looks ahead at Guzmanov. Tries to feed the puck to him. It gets there. Here's Guzmanov working on Ellen. He puts it wide. Ellen starts away for Toronto. Flips it to the line. And it's taken there by Tverdovsky. Sent back into Toronto territory. Gill ahead now. Kiprell pumped it into the jet zone. Going back is Tverdovsky. Behind his goal. Chased by Sundin. Got it to Newman. Newman retreats in the presence of Muller, then dumps it out to center ice. And going back is Gill. Ableton with an eye on him. It's sent down to Muller. Flipped into the middle. Newman and banned on it. Nearly lost it. Now Sundin puts it across. Gardner couldn't reach. Now lets it go. And the rebound is cleared away. Corlell forces Hallett to hurry. Potvin out of the goal. Gives it to Gill. Out to center ice, Sundin. Gardner trying to work by Manson. Back for Sundin. And Corlett takes it for Winnipeg. Lead pass. Kachuk against Gill. Kachuk backhand. Good effort by Keith Kachuk. Potvin made the save. Here's Finlay at center. Puts it into late territory. And going back forward is Gill. And play has been called on the offside.
That was a great save by Felix Potvin. Keith Kachuk on Todd Gill. Jets were down 3-1 at home against the Leafs in their last meeting, and Eddie O started it back, and the Jets ended up winning in regulation. And this was the game-winning goal.
Eddie O won the faceoff back to Alexei Zhamnov.
Alexei Zhamnov hammered it in. And here's Keith Kachuk on that last play. He's down, but he still gets the good backhand away, and Felix Potvin comes up with the big save.
3-3 nearing the 7-minute mark of the third. Eastwood and Gilmore. Gilmore comes up with it, takes it behind, throws it in front. Knocked away by Manson. Manson takes it outside the zone, tried it for Drake. Ahead for Eastwood. And now the Leafs clear it away. Back to get it is Manson. Manson takes it out. His pass goes off Eastwood. It's over two lines, and play has been whistled down.
You want to see what Target herbicide does to tough broadleaf weeds like cleavers and Canada thistle? That's what Target does to tough broadleaf weeds. Target can now be tank mixed with New Horizon.
I love my car.
At McDonald Auto Body, we know what it's like to love your car. We've been in love with cars for over 50 years. And we're proud that our customers recommend McDonald Auto Body because they love the work we do and our written guarantee. So when your car needs body work, show how much you care.
I love my car.
We've been in love with cars for over 50 years.
Well, our next lucky winner in our score and win contest is Pauline Chabuti of Winnipeg. Pauline did her score and win at Safeway, along with a fruit purchase from Ragu Sauces. Congratulations on that goal by Mike Eastwood. You want to set the Dirt Devil vacuum from Royal Appliance. And of course, if Mike Eastwood gets another, that's a hat trick. And a lucky Safeway shopper will instantly win a fabulous Canadian holidays trip for two to Mazatlan, Mexico. Here's McCowan at center. Puts it up to the jet line. 3-3 the score. Turcotte back in his zone. Watched there by Gilmore. It goes to King. King dumped it to center. Yuskevich gains the jet line. Puts it in deep. Gilmore behind the net now for Domi. He overskated. It's picked up by Numminen. Tempo Numminen leads the Jets out to center. Gives it to Turcotte. Back to Guzmanov. To Numminen. Granted for Guzmanov. Andrechuk starts back. Numminen is tied up behind the play. Here's Andrechuk with Gilmore. Andrechuk in front. Shot. Saved by Habibulin. And he holds on once again. He seemed a little uncertain as to whether he had that puck.
That's his best save of the night at a key time in this game. And there's Ty Domi's helmet. That's unmistakable. Probably one of the biggest in the league. He had Teppo Numminen all tied up, but what a play by Dave Andrechuk. He's been the best player on the ice tonight. He comes in, cuts across, uses Doug Gilmore, who's driving to the net, fakes Jeff Finley down, then slides it. And even though Nikolai looked behind him, Habibulin was down in good position to make the save.
Dave Andrechuk with a couple of goals for the Leafs. Doug Gilmore with the other. Mike Eastwood, a couple of goals for the Jets. Keith Tkachuk for the other. It's 3-3. 8 minutes gone in the third. Gagne and Tkachuk face off in the circle to the left of Nikolai Habibulin. The Leafs in 7th place, 1 point ahead of the Winnipeg Jets. Tkachuk is waved, so Mike Stapleton moves into the circle. Where he'll come up against Wayne Presley. It goes back to the point. With it there is Hallett. Hallett finds some room, moves in, lets it go. Here's Presley trying to jam it in. And play has been called. Habibulin was down. Kevardovsky was down. And the net appeared to move, and now
a little pushing and shoving. And there's a face rub by Dave Manson. Nick Kyprios trying to draw a penalty. This was the same as we saw earlier when Yushkevich went down. A little interference by Kyprios on Tkachuk, so he's trying to get back at Dave Ellett. And he has the stick up high on Dave Ellett. There's no call. Mick Magoo was down low following the puck as it went to the net. Mick Magoo had the quick whistle for Habibulin there. We saw it in the second period when he gave Yushkevich a quick whistle. Couldn't see it. This time it was on the other side of the net. There's Wayne Presley taking a pounding in front of the net by Dave Manson. He gets in front of Habibulin, tries to tip it through, but then can't find it. Tverdovsky does a good job tying him up. Presley just couldn't get it up and over Habibulin. They're still, Nick Kyprios is still trying to get Keith Tkachuk off the ice. And this is a trade-off the Leafs would love to have. They'd love to get Keith Tkachuk off the ice for an extended period of time and lose a fourth liner, Nick Kyprios. Or Dave Manson, either one without Craig Muni. You know, the Jets have to be disciplined here.
Well, Keith Tkachuk actually has done a pretty good job in that in the last couple of years. He's been informed, of course, by a $6 million contract as to his value on the ice. And he doesn't get a whole lot of penalties.
Well, here's the high stick, but we don't see the interference from Kyprios on Tkachuk as he tried to get out on Dave Ellett. You can see Tkachuk's reaction. He didn't mean to hit it.
Here's Newman and looks on the left side. Drake gives chase. McCowan with him. Drake Dave puts it back. Here's Eastwood. Backhand. Rebound. Backhand wide by Shannon. Now Newman moves in. Behind the net for Shannon. Shannon watched by McCowan. Bumps him off. Shannon maintains possession. Takes the shot. Kicked away by Potvin. Penalty coming up. Here's Sundin. Penalty against the Jets. Sundin dumps it in. Going back to get it is Finley. And as he touches the puck, the whistle sounds. The Leafs will gain the man advantage.
And here's an interference call. It's an even-up call where they missed one on Dave Ellett. Now, Dallas Drake is going off for interference, an obstruction interference call on Jamie McCowan. And the Winnipeg Jets look on. Here's the play behind the net. And, whoa, that is called interference. There might have even been a Leaf stick that tied up Jamie McCowan, but it's Dallas Drake who goes off.
Well, McCowan was the man who was out replacing Ellett, who was getting his helmet fixed. So they got the 2 minutes they sought. And the Leafs have the man advantage.
Canadian Tire has great prices on everything you need. Plus, earn Canadian Tire money with every cash purchase of merchandise. Great prices made better at Canadian Tire.
Off the draw, it goes to Muller. Back to Yuskevich. Puts it along the boards for Sundin. Now Muller. Sundin looks in front. Plenty of traffic there. Sundin holds on. Gartner being shoved by Hababulin. Sundin lets it go. Save Hababulin. Now Murphy. In deep for Muller. Checked by Manson. Manson gives to Stapleton. And he takes it away for Winnipeg. Looks ahead. Here's Kachuk. Kachuk trying to work by Yuskevich. Steps in front. Potvin to save. Kachuk pokes it into the corner. Now Muller with it. It's hit to Sundin. On the move is Matt Sundin. Moves in deep. Puts it out in front. That's knocked away. Turcotte fans on a clearing attempt. Now Tverdovsky puts it right up the middle. Grabbed there by Muller. He centers. Manson can't clear. Sundin fires it back in. Gartner puts it behind the net. Manson wrapped it around the boards. Kept in by Murphy. Over Yuskevich. Shot. Right at the side of the goal. Shannon clears it away.
There's another example, the 19-year-old Oleg Tverdovsky. Lots of time to drive that one off the glass. Tried it up the middle and didn't have enough on it.
Here's Murphy to Gilmore, trying to split the defense. Kachuk couldn't clear. Andrechuk for Gagne. Leads to the man advantage. Score tied. Third period. Gilmore back to Murphy. Over to Yuskevich. Yuskevich trying to poke it through against Stapleton. It goes down to Andrechuk. It's over the jet line, and it's offside.
Dave Andrechuk looks at Wayne Bonney, but Wayne Bonney was right on the play, made the call. We shouldn't just blame Tverdovsky. There was Keith Kachuk with a chance to get it out right by the jet blue line. Tried a cute little pass. Couldn't get it out. Here's a pass across. Now it comes to the corner. Oleg Tverdovsky's got time. Hard off the glass. Instead, it's the flipper up the middle. And they couldn't get it out. Another chance to get it out by Dave Manson. He couldn't get it out. When your penalty killing is going bad, you make all those little mistakes. That's a tough play. The long wraparound, usually the defenseman can get there.
Here's Newman with it. 24 seconds left in the penalty. Allen in behind his goal for Toronto. Now looks over to Gill. Gill to center, puts it up to the jet line, and grabbed by Finlay. Finlay trying to beat Gill to the outside. Gill wraps him up, and Gilmore takes the puck. Gives to Allen. Allen's pass, right side Gagne. Check, Turcotte. Turcotte pokes it back. Drake is out of the penalty box. Both clubs at full strength. 9 minutes left. Third period, score tied 3-3. Here's Gagne moving in front. Was checked, loose to Andrechuk, shot wide. In behind with it is Manson. Tries for Korolev. He's got Kachuk wide left. Can't hang on to the puck. And it goes to Andrechuk. Go, go! Across to Gill. Ahead for Andrechuk. Into Gilmore. Gilmore can't penetrate as three Jets are back. It's in out the center. Gilmore, Andrechuk. Korolev dropped it off. Stapleton finds some room. Gets it to Korolev, to Tkachuk. Back is Yuskevich. Gets it by Tkachuk. Tkachuk back to Korolev. Korolev down deep, working there against Yuskevich. Kicks it loose to Tkachuk. Tkachuk behind the net. Eastwood. And a wrap it around will stomp on McCowan. Yuskevich. Checked by Eastwood. It goes to Korolev. He's wrapped up by Yuskevich. Muller can't get up. Korolev kicking at it, looking for some help. Yuskevich stays with him. Finally, Eastwood and Muller move in, and play is whistled down.
Dead batteries, flat tires, stuck cars. They're facts of life. Fact is, 140,000 Manitobans depend on their CAA membership every year. For over 90 years, we've been providing the finest emergency road service.
Right on time, fast, and we were happy to see them.
Face facts. You may need our help today.
For everywhere you go today, go with CAA.
Play Safeway Score and Win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win a set of quality appliances from Tefal, a 20-piece set of Mikasa fine china in the Currents pattern, a Gold Star Start Touch 2 VCR, or a Texas Instruments personal organizer. You could also win a trip or two to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway's participating products, Minute Maid frozen concentrated fruit punches, and Kraft dinner. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
Best forwards for the Winnipeg Jets in their last 2 wins over the Leafs, Alexei Zhamnov and Eddie Olczyk. They're not here, but Keith Tkachuk has really been a spark plug tonight. He's played a very strong game, and he's had the best scoring chances here in the third period. He went right around Dmitry Yuskevich, and Felix Potvin had to make a key save.
Simpson saw his club take 6 out of 7, then lose to the Islanders, and then home and home with Detroit. They've lost 3 in a row. Here's Finlay, puts it in deep. Drake shot, kicked away by Potvin. Drake to Shannon. Shannon trying to free himself of Gilmore. Gilmore stays with him. Shannon keeps the puck. Shannon battling. 2 Leafs on him now. Shannon wins. Gets it over to Drake. Drake looks in front. Newman moved in. Newman in behind the net. Shannon again. Shannon tried to feed Drake. Drake into the corner. Looks at Newman. Can't get it to him. Following up is Finlay. Behind the net. Eastwood. Shannon. Eastwood. Back now to Shannon beside the goal. Poked away by Allen. Allen into the corner. Finlay pinches in. Shannon again comes up with a puck. Gives it to Eastwood. Eastwood behind now to Drake. Again Newman moves in. Gives it to Drake. Drake steps in front. Backhand. That went wide. Finlay after it. Here's Drake. His shot knocked down. And finally the Leafs are able to get it out. Here's Muller. Up across the jet line. Muller against Newman. Takes it deep to the corner. Centers for Gartner. He missed it. Now Sundin. Sundin frees himself. Finlay puts it in front. It was knocked away. Penalty coming up to the Leafs. Muller upended Drake. Jets will go on the power play.
And Mick McGough is calling it tripping. I thought it might have been hooking. The Winnipeg Jets did a good job killing off the Leaf power play, and now the Jets have their opportunity. Pass comes across, and Kurt Muller just drags down Dallas Drake. Right here, there's the hook and a little slew foot, and Kirk Muller takes the tripping penalty. Here's another look at it, and you see the left foot of Kurt Muller come through. He's got the stick underneath Dallas Drake's chest, and the tripping penalty on Kurt Muller called. The Jets have a power play opportunity.
Jets made good on their first man advantage, but they're 1 for 4 on the night.
There's Craig Hessinger doing his job, changing a pair of gloves. And how many players now have 3 or 4 sets of gloves each period? Power play set. Make a nice dry pair so you can handle the puck, feel your stick better. It's too bad the Zinger, though, he'll be around Winnipeg with the International League team, the Winnipeg Moose, or the Manitoba Moose, whatever they're going to be called, Kurt.
Yeah, they haven't decided on the name yet. But Zinger will, in fact, be staying with him. Here's Stapleton. Now gets up across the line, dumps it into the corner. Tkachuk goes in after it. Tkachuk over to Stapleton. Back to the point. Here's Tverdovsky. Waited too long. Gagne got in front. And a Newman in at center ice. Gives it to Tverdovsky. His pass picked off by Presley. Presley gains the line. Trying to go through. Here's Presley. Now Gagne with it for Toronto. Content to kill some time. Puts it back to McCown and drives it back in. 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the penalty to Kirk Muller. Just under 6 minutes left in the third period. The score is tied 3-3. Newman leads the power play. Drives it into the Leaf zone. Tkachuk goes after it there. Stapleton trying to dig it out. 5 of them battle for it. Finally, the Leafs. McCowan comes up, sends it out. And Newman at center, approached by Andreychuk. Gets it now to Korolev. Korolev's pass to Tkachuk. Tkachuk gets over the line. Korolev goes in after it. Andreychuk gets there first. Korolev takes it from Andreychuk. It goes back now to Tkachuk. Tkachuk to Newman. Stapleton's in front. Here's Tkachuk. Back to Newman. Trying to get the shot away. McCowan and Tkachuk in the corner. Here's Stapleton. Back for Newman against Andreychuk. Gilmore trying to drag it out. It is pushed by the Leafs down into the Jet zone. 23 seconds left. Jets have not had a good scoring opportunity on this power play. Here's Manson. Dumps it in. Sundin goes after it with Drake. Stopped by Tverdovsky. Over to Manson. Manson takes a look. Lets it go. Potvin save. With it now is Shannon. Back it goes. Manson shot. Knocked down. Shannon after it. And now with it, Tverdovsky lost it. Sundin as Muller's out of the penalty box. Dropped it off. Gardner's drive. Picked away by Hababulin. Shannon dumped it out to center. 4:20 left. Third period. Score tied. Darren Shannon takes it to center. Puts it into lead territory. And Muller comes up with it there. Watched by Guzmanov. Gets it to Gagne. Over now for Ellett. Ellett drives it in. King back for Winnipeg. King puts it ahead for Turcotte as he takes a hit from Muller. Now Finley. Turcotte kicks at it. And Muller comes back for Toronto. Guzmanov got him from behind. It goes to Newman. Newman at center. Puts it over the line. Gill. And it's offside, Winnipeg. 3:42 left in a tied third period.
I left a secure government position at an early age to pursue a career in the private sector. I decided to open up a business in Winnipeg because I like the even pace of the city. Had an opportunity to travel from coast to coast, and I have confidence in Winnipeg because I've been able to compare it to other major cities like Vancouver and Toronto. I find the business community here in Winnipeg to be far less intense than other centers across the country, and the lease rates are pretty inexpensive and very cost-effective to market to the entire city. This is a great place for business.
The Olympic spirit isn't about victory. It isn't about defeat. It's about challenging yourself. That's why MTS created the Spirit of Canada Fund. A program dedicated not to victory, not to defeat, but to showing our kids that with a little help, anything is possible.
Three stars after the game is chosen by Harry Neal, who is here doing the global broadcast for the Maple Leafs. I'm sure Keith Tkachuk will be considered. Mike Eastwood has played very well. He has a couple of goals against his former team. Dave Andreychuk's been good. One game, though, there hasn't been enough chances on the goalies. I'd feel a little bad if one of the goalies was a star, even in this one.
Tkachuk, long shot. Potvin knocked that one away. 3.5 left, third period. Score tied 3-3. Here's Korolev with it. Puts it out now. It's taken by Tkachuk. Tkachuk back. Newman shot. Potvin to save. Puck goes to the corner. Gagne kicks at it. Now Presley flips it high. In all the way down. Back is Finlay with Kyprios on his heels. Finlay moves to the right. Gets it out to center ice. Pokes it by Gagne. And now with it is Gagne again. Gets it ahead. Finlay knocked it down. Kyprios steps into him. And Newman clears it. Back goes Yuskevich, and that'll be icing against the Winnipeg Jets with 2:58 left.
The Winnipeg Jets have not looked tired here in the third period. They've done a good job. They've kept their shift short. They've worked very hard defensively here in the third period, and they've had some good chances, especially Keith Tkachuk. Corey Simpson looks on. This gives me a chance with time running down here. This is my last telecast on the Winnipeg Jets and CKND, and I'm sorry to see it go. I've really enjoyed my time doing Jets telecast on CKND. The very professional attitude and work-like attitude of the crew, and director John Sapala has really made it enjoyable to do the telecast, and I'm going to miss the city of Winnipeg and the Winnipeg Jets on CKND.
Now Gilmore into the corner with Eastwood. Craig trying to free himself of Manson. Manson knocks him down. It goes in behind the net. Gilmore watched there by Thompson. Gilmore looks in front at Andrechuk. Andrechuk bats it out of the air. Eastwood lifted up, and that's a souvenir.
Dave Andrechuk is shaking his head. He tried to bat one out of the air, and Dave Gilmore, that's his brother. I played with him. Doug Gilmore's in behind the net, tries to throw it out in front. Andrechuk with a good swing at it, but he fouled it off. Got underneath it, popped it up, and couldn't pop it into the net. Andrechuk's hard to find. He always gets in an open spot, and there's the baseball swing at spring training camp, and he's not going to be a 300 hitter with a swing like that.
Gilmore, Andrechuk up front along with Ty Domi. The face-off to the right of Nikolai Hamabulin. Gilmore against Tkachuk. It's pulled back into the Jets corner. Tkachuk and Gilmore after it. It's in behind the net. Here's Gilmore. Up to Domi. Knocked down by Thompson. Thompson goes after it. Looks ahead. It's taken out to center ice by Korolev. Flipped into the Leaf zone. Hot man. One ends at the Domi. Domi moves up the right side. Just over 2 minutes left. Gets it to Gilmore. Gilmore's pass. That goes to Domi. Domi's shot. And that didn't miss by much. With it now, Stapleton. He sends it to center ice. Held it with it. Gives it to Domi. Domi's pass to Gilmore. To Andrechuk. His shot. Picked away by Hamabulin. With it now is Thompson. One hands it out to center ice. Gill to Domi. Couldn't reach it. Manson circles with it. 1 minute 47 left. Third period. Score is tied. Thompson dumps it in. Eastwood goes after it. Missed it. Gertner. His pass intercepted. Finley has to wait. Now crosses the line. Dumps it in. Potvin gives it to Gertner. Gertner checked by Eastwood. Eastwood to Drake. Shot wide. Muller back for Toronto. Sent it by Sundin all the way down. Newman and back, and that'll be icing against the Maple Leafs with 1:19 left in the third period.
Teppo Newman has played well and played a lot tonight for Terry Simpson. Craig Muni went out early in the second period. Teppo Newman has picked up the slack. Mike Eastwood created a turnover in the corner. Mike Gardner was going around, and Felix Potvin was out behind the net. Eastwood threw it out, had a good scoring chance. Here's the Ty Domi chance earlier. This is the Andrechuk chance. Nikolai Hamabulin got the right pad on that one. A little pass from Doug Gilmore, and there's a little souvenir Doug Gilmore stick. I played with Doug's brother Dave and Jr. That's why I get the team mixed up. Well, there is a reason. Come on. There is a reason.
Was Gusarov on that team?
Roger Nielsen didn't like the imports.
Eastwood, Shannon, and Drake up front for Winnipeg. Puck goes in behind the net. With it there, Yuskevich. Around for Gilmore. Gilmore moves it to center ice to Sundin. Now Newman tried it for Drake. Drake's pass on the right side to Finley. Bumped it into the Leaf zone. Potvin leaves it there. Yuskevich around for Gertner. Checked in by Eastwood. Puck for Drake. And his shot went wide. Mike Eastwood's had a strong game and set up Drake on that one. Here's Shannon with it now. Gets to center. Forced back by Muller. Shannon flips it ahead over the head of Drake all the way down. And back is McCowan. 41 seconds left. 3-3 of the score. Here's Muller. Moves to center. Flips it up to the jet line. Manson is back. Try the pass too far for Turcotte. Turcotte can move. Gill got there first. He'll try to clear, stopped by King. King's pass. That's broken up. Here's Turcotte. Can't reach it. Now it goes to Guzmanov. In behind. Puts it over now. With it. Tverdovsky pinches. It's taken by Turcotte. Dumped in. 10 seconds left. The Leafs clear it. And we will have overtime. Back is Manson. It's not icing. 2 seconds. Manson may have the hardest shot on the leg, but he's not going to score from back there. So it's 3-3 after 3. We'll be back with overtime in just a moment.
Books make you smart. CKND Kids TV wants you to join the Jets Readers Club and collect bookmarks from all your favorite Jets.
Popovich chased by King.
Collect these bookmarks.
Doan gets it back again. Here's Doan, works in, shot, saved by T-Ball.
The more you read, the more you know. Ask your teacher how you can join the Jets Readers Club today. Read books.
Listen up. Listen up! I've got 200,000 VX to move at 3/8. Here's mine.
I can move 10.
Hold on for a second. Marty, I can do 15. Don't let it go. Hey, Marty!
Passion for the deal.
Do we have a deal? The deal is foolish and dangerous.
You want to tell me what other choice we have?
In the high-stakes world of buy and sell.
This is still my floor, isn't it?
For another half hour, unless you can drive GMI back up!
Traders, Thursday at 9 on CKND. Brought to you in part by Penthouse Furniture. We give you more.
Nikolai Abagulin sitting on the Jet bench. Here's a look at the tying goal. Mike Eastwood tips it. He gets credit, but Doug Gilmour's the one who swings at it and bangs it in his own net. It had enough to make it over the line. Mick Magoo right there to make the call. Mike Eastwood has had a very strong game. Kurt, you mentioned the setups in the last minute of play, plus the 2 goals. And for the Leafs, Dave Andreychuk has a couple. Nikolai Abagulin made one good save in the 3rd period, his best of the night on Dave Andreychuk, as Andreychuk broke in. The Jets' last win in overtime against the Chicago Blackhawks, and that 1-0 tilt. Dallas Drake scored after going around Chris Chelios on a blast that beat Jeff Hackett. And the Leafs' last overtime game was a 2-2 tie against New Jersey. And that was Nick Beverley's first game as head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, both these clubs have excellent overtime records. The Jets 2 wins and 4 ties. They have not lost in overtime this year. The Leafs 4-1 plus 11 ties. So it's 3-3 going into period 4. Jets open it up with Stapleton, Korolev and Tkachuk. The Leafs counter with Gilmour, Andreychuk, and Presley. Final visit for the Winnipeg Jets at Maple Leaf Gardens. Here's Hallett with it now. Gets it over to Gill. Gill moves to center, dumps it in. Abagulin stops it for Numminen. Campo Numminen leads the Jets away. Out towards center, flips it ahead. Andreychuk. Put it onto the stick of Tkachuk. Tkachuk trying to work through. Goes outside. Puts it wide. Korolev takes it behind the goal. Here's Korolev. He had drawn Elliott. Knocked it down. Gives to Andreychuk. He flipped it onto center ice. Presley trying to work it in. Checked by Numminen. And Korolev fanned on a clearing attempt. Then threw it to center. And it was whistled.
On the hand pass, Wayne Presley taking Ty Domi's spot with Doug Gilmour and Dave Andreychuk here in overtime. What's that mean, Kurt?
Sometimes you wonder what you have to do. Domi had a tremendous shift on that line late in the 3rd, but with the confidence of the coaching staff isn't there.
Well, now here's Ty Domi is coming out. He's taking Wayne Presley's spot as the faceoff is in the offensive zone this time instead of the defensive zone.
Therein lies the story. Gilmour, Andreychuk, and Domi up front. Eastwood, Drake, and Shannon for Winnipeg. Here's Manson. Gets it over to Tverdovsky. He dumps it all the way down the ice from his own side of center. That'll be icing. Tverdovsky appeared to have the opportunity to take another step or two and get to the center line, but didn't.
Dmitry Yuskevich wasn't used much under Pat Burns. Pat Burns is like Mike Keenan. He would pick 4 guys and go with 4 defensemen on most nights. It's pretty tough to do in an 82-game schedule, and since Nick Beverly has taken over, Dmitry Yuskevich is playing better, and he's playing a lot more. And Mike Foligno really had some enthusiasm. He's a very vocal guy. He's a very positive guy. He knows all the players, and was assistant coach in St. John's with Tom Watt. When the move was made, they thought they needed a little more jump. Nick Beverly's a quiet sort of guy, so they needed some holler on the bench, and they brought in Mike Foligno.
Domi stays up front on that line with Gilmore and Gagne. It's Gilmore against Eastwood. To the right of Hamabula, back to McCowan. A shot blocked by Drake. Drake knocks it out to center, goes after it. He'll knock it ahead. Shannon can't get to it. Murphy does. Murphy gets it ahead to Domi. To Gilmore. To Domi. He gets to the line. Is checked. Puck is knocked back. Following it. Here's Murphy. Shot. Rebound. Into the corner. Hits in behind now to Gagne. Gagne's pass. Domi trying to center. Knocked down. Tverdovsky to Drake. Can't get it by McCowan. Now Gagne moves in. Gagne centers it. Manson trying to clear. Puck goes back to the corner. Domi trying to work to the slot. Lets it go. Kicked away by Hamabulin. In with it now, Tverdovsky. Pass beyond the reach of Shannon. Murphy, 3.5 left in the overtime clock. Gives it to McCowan. Back to Domi. Domi dumps it in. Manson sends it around. Gilmore will cut it off. Then had to go outside the zone. King took a run at him. And back to get it is Manson. Manson, pass on the right side, goes Panoff. Went by him. Helen. Ahead for Sundin. Sundin dropped it off to Gartner. Gartner on the fly. Gains the line. Fakes it. Now lets it go. Hamabulin save. Newman benches the rebound. Looks ahead. Here's King. 3-on-2 for Winnipeg. Good goes Panoff and Turcotte. Tried it for Turcotte. And that was not free. And the Leafs come right back. 4-on-2. Here's the pass to Gartner. He's checked at the line by Finley. Now it's dumped into Finley. 2:44 left in the overtime clock. Guzmanov puts it ahead. It's taken by Yuskevich. Back to center. Fired into the jet zone. Finley and Sundin are there. Gartner. Check. Stapleton. Goes down. Newman takes the puck. Gets it to Tkachuk by him. Yuskevich at center. Knocks it back. Finley flips it ahead. Tkachuk reaches for it. Trying to get by McCowan, who put it back to Muller. His pass stopped. Korolev and Muller collide. It's taken by Manson. Manson sees some room. Long shot. Potvin kicked it away, and with it is McCowan.
Potvin had a little trouble with that long shot. It skipped, and he played it with his pad.
Here's Gilmore. Moves to center ice. Gets over the line. Trying to go by Manson. Takes it to the corner. Centers it. Loose puck. Hamabulin knocked it away. And now Tkachuk gives to Stapleton with Korolev. Gives to Korolev. Into the corner for Stapleton. He put it behind the net. Gilmore got it for Presley. Presley surrounded by Jets. Manages to get by 1, and then it's taken away from him. Here's Finley. 1.5 minutes left on the overtime clock. Gilmore gets to the line, and it's offside.
I don't think either coach wants to trade 3-on-2s, but the one shift, they both traded 4-on-2s, and neither team had a shot on goal. Look at the Leaf bench, and you think of their schedule coming up. They have Dallas Friday night. The team is trying to catch them. Then they have Vancouver. Here's one 3-on-2. Pass comes across. It hits Yuskevich's skate, and the Leafs turned it around and had a 4-on-2 the other way. Dallas Friday and then Vancouver Sunday. Then they play, like the Jets did, home and home with Detroit. And that's a pretty tough schedule for the Leafs. The Jets might be able to take advantage of that Leaf schedule and keep ahead of them.
We talk about Dallas. They're trailing 4-1 in Ottawa. 1:28 left in overtime. Here's Eastwood. Gets it over on the right side. Drake against Muller. Muller moves in. Gets it across. Gartner to center ice. Drop to Sundin. Sundin gets over the line. Here's Sundin. Centers it. Drake clears it away. And back for it goes Murphy. 1 minute and 7 seconds left in overtime. Here's Helen. Stopped by Drake. Tkachuk reaches for it. Can't get it. Puck goes free. Newman and then Gardner race for it. Newman and pokes it out to Kachuk. He gets it over to Drake. Drake's pass to Kachuk. Kachuk trying to work his way through. Takes it deep. Kachuk trying to center. That stop. Cleared out to center ice. 39